I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body that's just...
Welcome everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avión voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora?
Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
Acechan.
Our first match here of Day 2 of the Americas All-Star Series is now done and dusted and taken home by the LATAM Influencer team, but we still have 2 more matches coming your way. One is going to be on Orangle and one is going to be on Miramar, but still, we didn't see the rule set come into play of the 5 points per influencer elimination. Why are you doing that, Imperium? What's going on with your glasses
I know,
today?
I was just wondering how long it would take you to notice.
It took me twice. I was like, no, yeah, I had to make sure, but okay. I think that was the right way. Actually, they suited you more the wrong way. Yeah.
Oh,
good.
wow. Jesus. It was really hard to see, though. It was, like, wildly, like, straining on my eyes. But, yeah. That game one was good. I liked it. And I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more.
Okay. You're making my job easy, Imperium. That's a way to interact. We just had there. We're going to be having the match standings, ladies and gentlemen, coming up eventually. But no, so far it's going to be the match MVP we're going to be having, apparently. Coming in from Team Kesson is going to be Nitsu, even though Imperium did not get my joke earlier on. Livik, it is A-OK. But for eliminations, this guy was really on fire, and we saw some great individual players, the Shotgun in particular. Like, I wish we would see more of these Livik weapons in, like, the normal maps, because I think they're really fun. But this man was cracked when it came to that. What was it, 1v3, technically? Like, he was really on fire.
It was officially 1v3 who was last player alive. Literally 1v3.
Yeah, exactly. So 1v3 coming up his way. And Team Kessa, I mean, a little bit topsy-turvy when it came to Day 1. Day 2 might be their redemption arc.
Yeah, look, again, they've always been a bit of a team that can be volatile. And, yeah, when you add various... things into the mix, such as a different map that teams aren't used to, influencer teams. Yes, going to throw a curveball, but that's also where it allows individual players to show their prowess, to show their pure raw skill and their ability to pull something out of nothing. We saw it not only from Nitsu, but a couple of others, and a deserved MVP for Nitsu in this game one. I hope him and the team can repeat a little bit more success in Game 2 of this show match.
Yeah, I still want to see more of the hot drop on the influencer teams right now, because we had the most wanted rule set for the first game is going to be applied for this match and also match number 3. So we're going to be having different influencers you want to take down. For the 2 sides of Latam and Brazil is going to be Kevin Martins and also Agmaluma, sorry, apologies on that one, and Zute. And Zute died very early on that last game. Cannot afford to do it now. Otherwise, he's giving away 10 free points. So Zute needs to stay up and about for him to bring some impact for the team.
Look at this. Come on, Zute. The picture sees him holding a phone with the competitive fire in her eyes. Boy, live up to that, Zute. I want to see you, really relive the glory days of your competitive career and find 8 eliminations and just show that pure analytical prowess. Am I hyping him up too much?
I think a little bit. I mean, you casted with the man, right? I get it. If I had to talk about you in the matches, like, I would hype you up too. No,
maybe you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would say this man dies to bots. He's very easy. You should hot drop him right now. Get us an easy 10 points. You should definitely go and try it to see how things are going to be wrapping up. But I do hear that normally we're getting ready for our second match of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be Orangle for the second match. And once again, just like we saw in Day 1, we're going to be starting right at Phase 2. Things are going to be speeding up a little bit. But we're not going to be filled up with the amount of teams we had yesterday, we are only going to be having 11 participating teams, so that's a lot of extra space. And if you want to drop in the circle right away, you can do so because you're not going to have all those teams potentially contesting for more locations.
The Brazilian influencer team dropping early and locking down Nova for themselves are the only team at the moment dropping to the east of the plane path. On a side note, all the other teams heading towards that western side. Will Influence Rage go to Yasnaya? Will Pittsburgh Knights follow them in pursuit, because both of those teams normally go there? It seems because there's only 11 teams playing, maybe most of the teams want to just go straight into the circle to catch some early game action.
It's actually going to be the game plan here. Seems like a lot of teams are going to be putting their eyes focused on this circle pop. I want to take as much free real estate as possible in their favor, which understandably so. We're going to be having one of the influencer teams going for the Novo drop location and playing from that spot, so no issue with that one. And you do have a lot of time, even though the circle starts to close up a little bit faster because you do start at phase 2, right? You can still easily tank the early game circle. So I'm not really too scared about that. As long as you got the meds and you got the cast to make it happen, it's fine. But Little Boy gets the headshot with the crossbow right over here inside of Pachinki. Really, really good start. And Stenatexa, man, he just got taken aback right there with that crossbow.
3 teams dropping in Pachinki. Aton, Pittsburgh Knights, and Influence Rage. So I did ask if Pittsburgh Knights and Influence Rage were going to drop in Yasnaya. Hasn't been the case, but they've both dropped in Pachinki. We're looking at that classic kind of hot drop Erangel Pachinki action that these teams and players pretty much grew up doing when they first started playing the game. It's a rite of passage when you're kind of transitioning from a complete bot such as myself to improving, getting better, getting quicker within your skills. The hot drop on Pachinki is just a big part of it. So I hope these players are ready.
Hopefully, so they'll be ready, getting ready for some engages. Team Kesso do pick himself up 1 elimination over in the Gatkafield's location, but back to Pachinki here is going to be Aton, Knights, and also Influence Rage. So it's been a very, very stacked one. And actually, 1 team from each region. You got actually 1 team from Latam, 1 team from Brazil, and 1 team from North America. So this is an actual regional showdown here in Imperium inside of Pachinki. But there's only 1 team that'll come out on top. Coops, I do see him there with the DBS, waiting to show up and make an impact. Well, that's going to be panning out for him. But Aton in the worst location in Imperium because they're pinched between these 2 teams. They literally cannot escape this position.
Yeah, that's always something that you got to be aware of when it comes to Pachinki. But you also don't want to stand around like a mannequin a lot of the time because you're asking to be knocked down with those fantastic utilities that these players are more than capable of. Knights still up as a full squad, like you mentioned. Aton not really able to move and Influence Rage. Kwasi gonna stand up. He makes a mistake, but his teammate is there to back him up. Little Boy comes in for the swing.
There you go, though, going for the counter push. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do too much with the DBS. But I understand what happened. It was a mistake, man. He thought he was One Punch Man. He was going to go for a long-range punch, a serious punch. But unfortunately, it's not added into the game yet, so he's got to slow down a little bit. Influence Rage down to 2. Will be able to survive by a slither of HP for 2 of their remaining players. It's Gold and Lil Boy. Chaoski should be able to be brought back, but that's it for the Knights as they get swiped away in 11th. Influence Rage trying to defend once again. Chaoski and Lil Boy going to be knocked away. Golden there was literally only 3 bandages, and they are going for the push. Golden, can he survive it? I am not too sure. Let's get pushed on the left side and the right side at the same time. The DBS in hand. He misses the shot. Golden is still alive. He almost gets the knockdown. But Aton make it work out, and they will be the kings of Pachinki.
They had a second player there, so if the knock had come through, most likely he would have been finished off by that third Aton player. But certainly too close for comfort as they will remain in this game as the kings of Pachinki with 3 players standing tall. We're already down to 9 teams, by the way. Alpha 7 gets the drop on the Zute. He's been eliminated. That is 10 points in favor of Alpha 7.
Probably not a team you want to give 10 free points to. Just saying. Probably not the best way. Reaver's going to be the one to confirm it with the Mini 14. That was a knock into a flush. Good execution, but Noah. Oh, I thought Jacob was going to shoot him, but no, they're from the same team. That was a very airy look. He was like, if only friendly fire was activated, you would not be here anymore. That's what I think when I'm playing with Imperial.
Code. Bottom left.
Okay, I typed it. I'm taking it.
Wow, Jesus. I was like, why is the Max talking? It's like,
I got it. I stole
all
it. It's
part of
mine.
that.
Nah,
Indeed,
just-
of course. Yeah.
just kidding.
That
But-
code's come up. Enter it. There's one available. Get it while you can.
Yeah, they're free to use them. There's going to be a few codes throughout all of today's matches, so better pay attention to the bottom left side of your screen. Otherwise, I think Jason King might still be lurking Imperium. Might still be willing to create a personal treasure, a personal richness with all of those codes. And he's going to be dripped out of his mind. He's just going to get all the PUBG Mobile skins. God damn, can't let that happen.
Yeah.
Too much drip for one person.
You
It's just too much to deal with.
You call it drimp.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry,
I mixed it between shrimp and drip. It's the drip.
Why did you even mix up with shrimp?
I don't know. I want to eat shrimps, man. I'm a hungry man. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, it just came out like that. It's no idea. But Nova going to be good for the chase down here. It's going to be Yi. Just sending himself forward a little bit all over the place. A little bit of a messy position. I'm not going to lie. Just, man, it's really interesting how like these show matches, you see stuff that you would never see in like a usual match. Like these teams are going for a way different approach. One of the influencers is actually going to be spotted out. Nova on the hunt, on the prowl. Connecting one of the lockdowns onto Lost. I don't believe he was one of the players to get rid of. I don't think that was the case. They do at least pick himself up an extra 5 points because that was an influencer. And that's what you get for taking them down.
The Latam influencer team are to the west of Gaka, and they're looking good inside this phase 2 intense game. Coming around the Headshot Hills area on the northeastern side of the circle. Wall Street Bets have kind of wrapped around that north church side high ground of Pachinki, so they could lock Aton inside the city and eventually, with a bit of patience, get the squad up. You can see even Senatexa being knocked already, so 24k has caught Senatexa in 4k.
Oh no, Jacob, oh no, oh.
What?
Okay, Jacob, yeah, there's no, you don't survive an interaction with Alpha 7 like that, no. That is utter disrespect, just driving into the buggy of one of the players, like, man, come on. Didn't even try and go for insurance and everything and get his paperwork. Like, no, he just tried to do a hit and run.
Could that be classed as a cyberbullying? Like,
yeah, that is a cyber hit and run. Like, and it is punishable by, I mean, I guess in-game death, which is what just happened to Jacob. So you don't do that. Okay, you're breaking the rules, mate. That's not cool. Can't have that.
Ooh, nice to see the bolt actions coming out inside this game. Zeus boy looking to try and flex those 360 no scopes.
I think the part missing here is like the 360 no scope. He is clearly scoping in and not doing a 360. I do respect you trying to push it as like the MLG gamer you are, Imperial.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, there was a 360 hard scope, no scope, Titanic, 67 pi 27. Like, no, it's just a normal scope in Imperium, okay? I don't. God damn, but okay, Nade in hand is going to be for Baji. A little bit of a rough start on that first game on Livic. The nade comes in.
Oh, wow.
Very nice onto 24k. And he's trying to go for the double, but unfortunately not able to wing it. And he's even some other players on the rooftop. Wall Street Bets, can they survive?
Janchi.
Once again, it's Janchi left as a solo. And he is spotted away. An intense game. Go for the third party and pick up 4 eliminations so far.
Yeah, they were coming in through the Headshot Hills, and I didn't think they were going to head towards Pachinki, but it's quite obvious that they heard the shots between Wall Street Bets and 8-7 and decided to get involved, while the Latam influencer team are going to have their compound breached by the might of Alpha 7.
We'll have to see how Latam can survive it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they'll be able to survive it for long. And Maluma, Imperium, is the player to eliminate for 10 points on their side. And he is instantly taken away. And now it's Alpha 7. That is twice, Imperium. They get the 10-point advantage. 10 points twice in this game. One on Zute and one on this extra player here of Maluma. They got 20 points and 2 single eliminations. And so far, they've lost no players. So Alpha 7 are really shredding the competition. And they get the entire team squad wiped.
Wild.
I cannot even begin to imagine how many points they've gotten from Game 1 and Game 2 combined purely by eliminating influencers. That number must be staggering.
In this specific game alone, they've wiped out 2 full influencer squads without losing a player, as far as I know. That means they have gotten themselves 10, 20, 15,
50.
15, 30. They've gotten themselves 50 points in just this game alone already.
Do we do a copy and paste from day one? Do we give
Yeah.
them the trophy already?
Yeah,
Dude.
that's it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I mean,
GG.
they got 50 points in 2 squad wipes.
Yeah.
What do you want to do
Like-
against that?
Like this is not a fight for first. This is a fight for second to fifth.
Yeah, I don't like how that keeps happening when Alpha 7 are in the lobby, but there's also some respect that we need to give to that, right? And I mean, they're playing the game. They're playing the game, and it's making great work so far. As Alpha 7 going to be the first team going for the dead center position of this next circle shift. They're very focused around Ruin / the eastern side of Everest. You're going to see squads like Team Kesso, Intense Game, Aton looking maybe for an opportunity to push their way forward. While Kevin Martins, don't believe one of the influencers to take down, but still alive in the southern side of Pachinki.
Can I call him the man with 2 first names?
Kevin Martin?
Like I know there's ness on it, but I just think like Martin is a first name, Kevin's a first name.
I don't think
man
so.
with 2 first names.
I think Martins is a good second name. I don't know.
Oh no, it is a legitimate second name. Of course it is.
You come up with the weirdest, wildest conversational topics in Imperium sometimes. I do too.
Look.
But it was on you this time. Mono though going to be nicely taken down by Grafa. There was a headshot that connected initially. Right into a body shot, so Mono stands no chance to survive it. Ayala's still in the distance. If he can survive, might be able to get the res onto Mono. But Intense Game, they want to get involved. They want to go for the full commit to it. Grafa wants to confirm those juicy points while they still can. That's an extra one. Up to 5 eliminations so far. And they are showing no signs of slowing down. Even though they're down to 2 players, they are relentless and they are not scared of the opposition.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy about this game because we're 12.5 minutes in and we're down to 5 teams, 12 players, and all teams are inside the circle.
Sheesh.
So Alpha 7 will have heard all these shots and they will probably look to get involved as they send themselves out. Intense Game go down, followed by Team K, so the third party is there. Aton are still alive and we are left with 4 teams.
I love it. Revo is just in that compound, chilling for the longest time. He's looking at this like, what are those guys doing over there? Oh, guess I'll get involved. Boom, done. Okay, fight finished. 10 eliminations. 11 eliminations. What do you want to do against them? These guys are cracked. They're completely different beasts. They're just miles ahead.
Kevin Martins, can you get into the circle, please? Please, Kevin Martins, just make your way into the circle. He's hanging around the kind of southeastern edge of Pachinki, by the way. He's nowhere near the circle. Look at him. He's just like on a Sunday drive. Dude, please, just do it. 1v4 against Alpha 7, you'll be a god.
For Kevin Martins, I think we have to re-explain the rules. If you eliminate yourself, you don't get 5 points. Okay? I know it would be cool. I know it would be cool, but it's not how it goes. Okay? It's not how the cookie crumbles. So you need to rethink it.
You do get 5 points, but you also lose 5 points because you go down to an influencer. So it cancels out.
Oh, you can answer 0 point. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Good, quick thinking in Imperium. But Reva just gonna go for the push and. I mean, he doesn't care about your feelings. He just goes for it. He just cares about facts and knowledge and bullets. As he just takes that control, goes for the push, and now there's only a few players of Aton that were surviving. Now there's nothing happened, and there's only Kevin Martins. There's somewhere. He's in the ether of Gatka, just moving around, and now it's going to be a game of hide and seek for the next few minutes in Imperium as they try and hunt him down. Kevin Martins is chilling.
Do you know, have you heard of the program Dog the Bounty Hunter?
No.
Okay, well, it's a reality TV show about this guy, you know, that's a bounty hunter and you know, goes through, like, about him hunting people and paid to do it. This is Alpha 7 bounty hunters. Because their target, the man that they're hunting down is Kevin Martins, and yeah, it's going to be a tough cookie to crumble. The only potential sliver of possibility is that the players from Alpha 7 kind of are rocking around the rest of the circle and the map as solo players, and you can technically pick them off one by one. But
he said hi.
Yeah, to me,
he knows he's been watched. He knows.
It's a matter of time. He should just make his way into the circle. Come on, dude.
What's up, Kevin?
Put us out of our misery, per se.
He said, come at me, bro. Alpha 7, easy. 1v4, mate. Damn.
Wow, look at those
He's got some moves. I gotta say. Oh, man. Oh,
moves like Jagger?
Moves like Jagger. Got some of those K-pop moves too, but
You heard the vehicle.
I don't know if it's going to be spotted out. Kevin Martins, I mean,
He's gonna have to move.
he's going to be in the blue zone soon. 15 seconds now, actually, before the blue zone starts to close in.
He's arguably better off going on foot at this stage because he's left it kind of quite late.
Is he? Should he better go by foot? He's not going to make it anyways, Imperium. I'm very pessimistic, but yeah.
It's over till it's over, man.
Yeah, and he is also worth 10 points. Like, he is the most wanted player of his team. So, Alpha 7, you get this elimination, you get 10 points extra. That means they get that means they get every single most wanted of the game.
Oh yeah.
They get 30 points from 3 eliminations.
They don't need these points, Alpha 7. Just give him a moment. Let him live his dream.
I feel like we might have to rethink this point system because Alpha 7 are just they're really using it to its full extent.
You know the way golf has like a well, okay, it's a handicap system to you know, for people to judge where they stand. Alpha 7 should have a bit of an aggregate against them, you know, like weights on a race car if they finish high up. Yeah, they should add, like, you know, they should come into a game with like minus 50 points just to give other teams a bit of a chance.
I don't know what to add right now. As you said, it's just a game of like the bounty hunters looking for Kevin Martins. Yeah, you know why they're looking for him, Imperium? Because he's been dropping these sick dance moves, and this is illegal. I think it goes against the Geneva Convention, Imperium. Like, you can't drop these like that. Okay? You need to take him down. Kevin Martins, this is not cool.
Out of all things you put, like, the Geneva Convention. Question mark, do you actually know anything about the Geneva Convention?
I don't know what's written in details on it, though. I don't want to go too far in depth with it. But yeah, Kevin Martins, the circle's going to move away from him once more, and I want to make sure I move.
Come on, dude.
I'd have to say, at least it looks like he's having fun.
Like, this game should have ended like in 30 minutes, and we're in the 80-minute mark. Like,
hey, he brought us back to reality. Okay, he's like, man, this game's going way too fast. I'm going to slow it down. Okay, significantly. What did Alpha 7 think right now? I think the game strat for Kevin Martins, non-ironically, Imperium, like, this is a very serious one. And I think I might actually have hit the nail on the head with this.
Okay.
Kevin Martins' game strat with this is he waits as long as possible for the circle to close, wait for all of the Alpha 7 players to get close together, get some covers, get a pillow, fall asleep because the game's going on for so long, and eliminate them in their slumber. I think that's the pro strat he's going for.
It's 9 quadrillion IQ gameplay.
I know. And that's why he's doing the sick dance moves, like he's preparing to put a show on to hypnotize them, make them fall asleep. You know?
Lulling Alpha 7 into false sense of security. Making them think second by second that he's not a threat, that he's going to do nothing. And this is the start of it. He's going to find Mythic out in the open. Kevin Martins, 1 down, 3 to go, Max.
Gotta eliminate him, though. Mythic is still going to be able to crawl his way away, maybe find himself some cover, and he actually finds the cover. Carrillo now, he's got his eyes locked and loaded onto Martins. And he's got himself a med kit. He's got 2 med kits. He really does not want to go out, and he's getting rushed right here. He does not get the med kit in time, and that is going to be it. And Alpha 7 do get himself the win at the end, and do get the extra 10 points from eliminated the most wanted player from the Brazilian influencer team. This is like one of the weirdest games I think I've casted in PUBG Mobile right now. It happened. It was something. Put it down in the history books, I guess.
Obviously, Alpha 7 certainly put on a bit of a clinic, right? It took down 2 influencer teams, and of course the final player of the final influencer team at the end, a third party. They were a menace to all the teams around them, and it's I don't really know what else I can say, Max.
I really hope we're gonna have the overall rankings like available after this match, because I really want to see how many points were secured by them. They eliminated like every single influencer team almost. I don't know. We'll have to see. But if you want to check out the over rankings, hopefully we'll have them after the break. So we'll see you guys in just a bit.
I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I came to play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me. Then I double up again under their nose. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted. So I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close. I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke. I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me. They need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea with ace a marine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they will lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where. I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in, talk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, I to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me. Then I double up again, none of their knows, none of them cold. They just got lucky but never adapted, so I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke, I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me, they need a blade in a sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy at sea, with ace a marine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they would lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything.
Welcome everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking
Acechan.
And we are back for the Americas All-Stars once again for our third match of the show match series here to try and close this one off with our influencers. And man, I said Alpha 7 has had an increase in points significant on that last game, and they can make it happen once more. As we're going to have a different rounds of most wanted players on the influencer teams, and
Yeah.
they're on the hunt, they're on the prowl, and Alpha 7, they'll show no signs of slowing down once again.
Unfortunately, we don't at the moment have the overall standings to show you, so it's hard to put a visual grasp on where Alpha 7 stand in terms of how many points they are ahead of the pack, but I think it's pretty fair to say that they are about a squillion points ahead of the rest of the lobby. I think that's an accurate number to put up.
How many zeros is that?
That is about 9 squillion zeros.
Okay, I know I'm bad at math, but that is, you just made that up. So I'm not even going to try and compete
Excuse
with
me,
with
do you
this.
have proof that I made it up?
Yes, I can check that out after. Potentially,
but not
we'll
right
see.
now.
The Alpha, no, not right now. Alpha
Right.
7 get himself that chicken dinner, as you saw earlier, also able to get himself Kevin Martins, finally, after a decade of chasing him down, they actually found where he was hiding in the open grasses of Gatka Fields, and they got the elimination. And the extra 10 points that came with it. And so far, when it comes to eliminations, Revo got himself 7 eliminations in that entire game. 3 for Mythic, 3 for Carillo, and 2 for Mathio. So, man, Revo really impressed me in that first day, but he's still up here, popping off on the second day. And the Alpha 7 roster is just looking insane. And of course, with those 7 eliminations, are we surprised? Not out of Imperium. He takes the MVP of game number 2.
What's really interesting, albeit not super surprising, but definitely something to point out is that none of the Alpha 7 players had over 1,000 damage, right? And that shows you that not only were they ridiculously clinical in their engagements, but they were so clinical that when they took down a player, there was no like bounce back so that they had to get more damage. It was like, yeah, we shoot, we knock, we eliminate, we move on. So yeah, very, very, very good from Alpha 7.
Yeah, very, very good stuff from Alpha 7 indeed. But we're going to look at the most wanted players for this third and final show match. And this time around, we're going to be having Semi-Clutch, Level Low, and also Noah from YT. They're going to be the players to take down. And if you do get them eliminated in these games, you'll get yourself 10 points awarded to your team. But be careful to not lose any of your players. If you get eliminated by an influencer team, that is -5 points for your squad, and you definitely do not want to allow that to happen. But we are also going to be getting ready for our third game, ladies and gentlemen, here for the show matches, and it's going to be Miramar this time around with a very northeastern circle pop for the phase 2. And that's going to be requiring team to go for some very fast and quick maneuvers to make sure this does not hinder their early game stage.
Yeah, that phase 2 is a little bit up towards that northeast, and it is not complementary to the plane path. So certainly going to be already a tiny bit challenging for these teams. Team Queso heading towards Monte Nuevo, their normal drop, so Alpha 7 towards El Pozo. The North American influencer team are going towards Ruins and Trailer Park, so a much safer destination inside this Miramar game. So it would be nice to see the North American influencer team show us a little bit something in this final show match.
Yeah, it would be cool to see a little bit of something different, though I am currently already seeing some fights as Influence Rage taking a fight versus Aton, Brazil versus Latam inside. Oh, wait, it's not. It was even more than that. This was an A-team. This is another 3-way fight between the 3 regions of Latam, Brazil, and North America. Wall Street Bet's going to be the North American representative. They're still up as a 4-man, but Influence Rage are not going to be trying to escape it, while Aton not willing to fully take the fight. Maybe could be trying to third party it later on down the line. But for now, they are leaving the fight. They want nothing to do with it, as Jiwon just barely walks into the molly as it spreads on the wooden floor. And he's going to be suffering a little bit more damage, as 24k had to go for the heal up.
Yeah, Aton lost 2 players and they're like, screw this, I'm out of here, boys. You can take your own fight. We're going to play for a little bit more of that late game inside this Miramar battle. Jiwon, of course, clutch stop inside Livik against Nova Esports. Can he do once again with the rest of his teammates against Influence Rage? It's a little bit trickier around this Hacienda lockdown compound. Kwasi is going to be the first to drop, and Wall Street Bets get a little bit of control.
Yeah, 24k can't do anything now on the receiving end. He's just going to be knocked instantly without a fight taken. And Wall Street Bet's down to only Skipper. We saw what Skipper could do in time of need. But can he make it happen once again? He's down to a slither of HP, 1 bullet, and he is pretty much dead. Nice initial damage shot. Can he get a second though? That is a yes. He does go for the weapon swap, but it does not go any further than that. Influence rate
Aton, very
down
clever.
to 1. But Aton, they do exactly what I thought. No, he misses the shot, Setexo. You can't do that. He's going to have a second opportunity, but oh, that was a given there. It was a Winchester. That was a given headshot. But unfortunately, fumbles at the end. Maybe someone hit his arm as he's in gyro. Will this blame on the gyro? Had a little bit of an issue. But he goes for the push. Bruno will be there to back it up, and that is it. They become the kings of this one. A little bit of BM to close it off. Can't be wrong about that one. But that's it, as we do lose 2 teams inside of the Hacienda del Patron compound.
Very, very clever stuff from Aton. They obviously tracked the elimination feed. They saw what was happening in between Influence Rage and Wall Street Bets and came in with the perfect third party. Noah from YouTube goes down. He was much further away from the rest of his team, by the way. I don't know exactly what happened to him in terms of why he didn't drop with the rest of his team. So that is the most wanted player from the North America influencer team eliminated. 10 points gifted Team Queso.
Yeah, always good for Team Queso, able to get himself a few extra points here. Is that really going to be impacting their position in the leaderboards? Not sure just yet, but you know what? You can't go wrong with an extra 10 points in your pockets. That is a net positive. Though, Circle already started closing around these teams. The Blue Zone is going to be engulfing already a few of them. One of them being the North American influencer team, and one of them also being Team Queso. Need to try and speed things up a little bit to make sure they will not have an issue. But the dead center of the circle, man, really goes to show that no one tried to adapt to this circle. Almost no one is like very heavily inside the circle itself. So there's a lot of breathing space that teams can go for, even if they do tend to rotate a little bit later, like the 2 teams I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities. I wouldn't be too stressed out with this one.
True, but one aspect is that there are more teams kind of clustered around this southwestern edge of the circle, obviously because of the plane path and phase 2 circle that instantly popped up. So we could see at least a little bit more action come through before teams maybe disperse for that more northeastern edge of the circle. Still a couple of teams inside the blue. The Brazilian influencer team on the far southeastern edge of the circle. The North American team, you can see on your screens right now, they're starting to rotate away from Ruins on that main road heading towards the Le Cabre area. They're going to have, at the moment, the LATAM influencer team and Alpha 7 in front of them coming into that northwestern edge of the circle.
Team Queso might have a little bit of a clash here, so they've got to be careful while they approach the position of intense game towards the south of Hacienda del Patron / San Martin. Could be a little bit of a tricky one. While the Brazilian influencer team going for the wide eastern rotate on the east of Junkyard. Potentially entry point into El Azahar itself could be an opportunity, could be a possibility. We'll see, but so far things have slowed down pretty significantly. Only 2 teams have gotten eliminated, but it does feel very weird. Like, Miramar does feel very empty when you're already down to 9 teams at this point of the game, though Knight's taking the fight. Xenox instant headshot to run from Nova Esports. NA versus NA. And it seems like Knights currently are going for the top side of the fight.
Oh, Coops is going to go down to his knees. Nova gets the initial drop-off in that engagement. There could be a bit of a third party, like I kind of mentioned, right, with teams clustered up around that southwestern edge of the circle. Aton could come involved, and Intense Gaming as well coming on the backside. We're already down to 9 teams. You could easily lose 2 more in the next couple of minutes max.
Could be happening indeed. Not too easy. Zafan, nice little bit of a back shot here on the spec of Knights. But not going to go any further this time. Knights hopefully can get the res onto Coops. Xenox and Tensa still trying to hold strong. Not going to be too easy though. Luckily enough, they are at least in the circle for now. But there's a potential third party from Intense Game. Like, they're hearing this fight from a distance. Aton also have shown that they can third party themselves. And Intense Game, there we go, looking for the fight. Rafa gets the headshot to Zafan. And they're looking to get as much out of this as they possibly can. You never know. If they're lucky, it might be an influencer team. We know it isn't, but that is going to be, I believe, their approach as he gets the knock onto Coops once more. And this might just be the end of Knights, that has been having a very tough 2 days in this event.
And what's really good about the split from Intense Game is that it's 3-1. So it's really the best of the entry point inside the circle. Okay.
She just traded blue for blue. I don't know why I find that funny. I find that so hilarious the way he did it. Just rolls over to someone, then instantly gets exploded in that car. Like, that's just... You should just ask Benny Hill music on top of that, and it'll just be very fitting. Pereira, though, taking his own fight, taking himself a one-on-one currently, will be able to win it out versus the last player, Tensor of the Knights. And that's going to be Knights eliminated in 7th position. What is going on right now? This game is all over the place already.
Well, I did say that the North American influencer team were kind of initially walking into the path of Alpha 7 and the LATAM influencer team. The LATAM influencer team kind of made their own way into the circle, but Alpha 7 kind of stayed behind looking for the stragglers, and they found them in the form of the NA Team Queso. Now looking to make their way to get involved in this kind of third party down on the southwestern edge of the circle between Intense Game and 8-on-7.
Yeah, 8-on are going to be a little bit surrounded by foes. Team Queso, not sure. It would be surprising if they would just decide to stop here. I would prefer them to try and aim for a better long-term position, but because of how the formatting here works, I think that teams are a lot more stress-free in Pyramid. I don't know if you would agree. So I think they're just like, okay, yeah, this fighting, let's go for the fighting. Let's have some fun with this one. I think that is the general approach of this, is they want to get involved in as many skirmishes as possible, get as many points as possible. You never know. Might be lucky. Might have an influencer team in the mix. As here, Intense Game, once again, looking for that long-range fighting, and so far, it's been pretty successful, suffering no casualties and getting 4 eliminations for a very, very small price.
And all the while, the Brazilian influencer team, they're on the eastern side. They're minding their own business. Kevin Martins at least has some company this time, which is, you know, not going to make him feel so lonely, and a possible opportunity to actually take the chicken dinner. But for the time being, the battle is ensuing between Team Queso and 8-on.
Oh, I don't know if a nade could come out from Team Queso. That'll be a really easy way to get rid of 8-on in that position. But the presence of Intense is just rippling through this entire Miramar game. Like, they are present everywhere. Mono's going to be the next one, knocked away by Zeus Boy this time around. Now for 7, also want a piece of the pie coming in from the northern edge of that warehouse. And they even have this angle from Zeus Boy. Like, they are everywhere right now. They're just surrounding every little part of this 3-man fight. And they're going for the 4th party, technically. Spots out player Revo with the bolt action there. I believe that's the Carnite here, if I can see on the icon. Really great shot to Zeus, but gonna have to force the heal up.
Oh, nice shots from Zeus. Boy, he tries to find one player of Alpha 7, but then switches his target. And that's one thing about kind of rotating as a full squad on vehicles inside Miramar, because you're able to, you know, stop the focus from one specific player in the end, though. Shots come in and Mythic! Plant the headshot, bolt it. It's not often I say it, but I think that one deserved it, Max.
Do it again. Do it again,
Plant
Mythic.
the headshot, bolt it.
We're recording right now.
Man.
Come on. Okay, they're
Beautiful.
going to be traded away, though. Nice idea. Some players are pretty low on Alpha 7, so that could be working out for Pereira. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it will be going the entire way. 8-on now going to be pushed upon. There's going to be Bruno there with the shotgun, having to defend this corridor position. You need to hit the shots, and he does just that. 8-on, 6 eliminations in. Senna Texo will be brought back to life.
Man, this is absolutely wild. An Intense Game still trying to hold on against Alpha 7. They've been headshotted, they've been beaten down, but they're still alive, and the test is there. 2 players of Alpha 7 knocked, but Mafioso still able to put in a bit of work. Mythic on the other side as well, so they do have multiple angles, but Intense Game are still up as a full squad.
Intense Game has been having some such smart placement this entire fight around the warehouses. Like, they were making sure you cannot escape this position without suffering massive casualties.
Exactly.
And they've been doing it pretty much like uncontested this entire game, I would say, Imperium. Like, no team has been heavily contesting them until right now. And they've hindered their numbers so heavily. Like, they eliminated 2 players of Alpha 7 before they even had a chance to fight back. That I just don't see Alpha 7 surviving this engagement versus Intense Game. So, yeah, Intense Game, amazing setup and really playing to their strength in this terrain.
And based on what we saw yesterday, if there's one team that I could have proposed testing Alpha, it would be Intense Game. They had a stellar set of games yesterday, and they're looking pretty good as they take down Alpha 7 finally.
Yeah, and there you have it. That's going to be an extra few points, 7 so far eliminations for them. And a team that we mentioned, right, we don't know too much of, but I think that this event in particular, for me at least, and hopefully a lot of people at home that maybe don't know too much about this team, like, they are putting their name on the map of PUBG Mobile Esports in the West.
They've captured my attention in a big way.
I think we're seeing the trend right now of influencers. Like, I think it's like the trend of the TikTok dances. No, like, and the influencers,
God,
they got to capitalize with it. No, the influencers, okay? You got to do what you got to do.
Hashtag content.
I mean, it is content. Pretty cool. I can't get sick move like that. I wish I could, but you're not there. And the two teams right now that are tryharding their positions are the two influencer teams. The one from Brazil and the one from also Latam, if I'm not mistaken. So they're both playing in Cruz del Val, northern side of El Azahar. And during that time, Intense Game and Aton are just tryharding onto the west and just trying to take a fight, having some fun, some memes with it.
Look, I gotta say, like, fair play to the influencer teams in terms of these in their own right understanding the balance of playing path to circle, right?
Yeah.
And understanding that the safest part of the circle was always going to be that northeastern and eastern side, and they've gone there, and yeah, they're into the top 4 at least.
Yeah, I mean, when I say try hard, I don't mean in a negative way. I do mean like they are actually playing it seriously, which I do respect. Very respectable thing coming out from the guys. Though Center Tex is going to be dropped down. They're trying to go for the flush almost instantly. They're looking for that double-digit elimination count for this third game of the showdown matches. Going to go for another one here, and Zeus Boy, real PUBG and Zeus Boy really yesterday and today, especially Zeus Boy today. Like they are really out there doing God's work and really enjoying it. So. Seeming pretty much unstoppable. Here we're going to be taking a quick look at the Latam Influencer squad as they're positioned very high up north towards Cruz del Val, and the Latam team is going to be west of El Azahar in one of the best positions, I would say, in this circle currently. Is really good overview on a lot of the terrain, even center circle. So that information gain could be strong, but these two teams, they're going up against Intense Game Imperium. We just built them up already, hyped them up yesterday and today as a team you do not want to mess with. There's no room for mistakes for these two squads, and if they both die to the hands of Intense Game, like that is so many points you're going to take home after this game.
Oh yeah. Big test now for Intense Game, not only from a point potential, but also even just kind of going up against the two influencer teams. I love Vina Bola Donna. I love the IGN. I think it's it's quite exotic as a name to say, you know. Yeah, okay, it's quite long, but it sounds nice. Vina Boladonna, you know, sounds pretty nice.
Okay.
Is what? Our producer has given us a translation in our ear.
It's the most one of the most wanted that we had earlier in the day. Also, it's sweet. Also,
okay.
Just the IGNs look a little bit different, so we'll work with that one. But here you go, Intense Game.
Okay.
On the prowl, on the move. Looking to go for one push initially. This is going to be pushing for the Latam team. It seems to kick off stuff over here, potentially. No, sorry, the Brazilian team is going to be the one pushed, actually. Sorry for the mix-up there. But Zeus Boy, access to the ridge line currently. It's Kevin Martins. There's no shine away from this fight. You can't do like last game and run around the map all willy-nilly. This one, you have to take it head-on. The nade is on point, puts him down to 2/3 HP. Kevin Martins going to be going away. Fearful of those potential follow-up grenades, while Zeus Boy just holding his lonesome on that ridge. He's got no support, no assist from his squad. But now they got that knock. The entire squad is going to be pushing in Imperium. They want those eliminations. They want those extra points on the influencer team from Brazil. As they're going to be Susui remaining with another player. They're nowhere near Kevin Martins and lost. So that's going to be an extra 10 points going their way for almost free. As they're going for more. Page is going to be knocked away. Can't afford to get flushed out. Page, we're actually... Rafa naded Page, it seems. Oh, a little bit of a miscommunication play, it seems, from Intense Game. But there we go. Sisu is going to be also knocked away. That's going to be an extra elimination, an extra 5 points on top of it. An Intense Game. They're going to get absolute bank after this here.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, the second influencer team was much further away, so wouldn't have heard those shots to get involved as a potential third party. They will now have to enter the edge of this phase 5. Again, they're still up as a full squad, but more importantly for Intense Game, they didn't lose a player on that skirmish against Susui and the rest of the team. But while the players being picked up and put on the back of Zeus, boy, you can put a $10 Google Play card on your back by entering the unique code that is to the bottom left-hand corner of your screens. First come, first serve. Get in there first, get the $10 and use it to buy those fresh PUBG Mobile skins.
Hey, Maluma was not even looking at his screen there. He was trying to get the code real quickly, but he got taken down in the meantime. I can't do. You got to be focused, man. The codes are important, but the game too. PUBG get himself one, get himself two right out of the gates. PUBG, a little bit of redemption here on these last few eliminations here. Really trying to catch up to Zeus Boy and how impressive he's been throughout the first few games today. And now they just want to wrap their way around. 7 players still alive. It's a 4v3 here, Imperium. It's going to be happening. It's technically a 4v2v1. As Semi is still alive for the Brazilian squad.
Like, Intense Game just making mincemeat of their remaining players, and it's nice to see them shine in these show matches. They haven't really done it in the first 2 games. So in the final game in Miramar, not really surprised. Like I said, especially compared to how they performed yesterday. The 2 remaining players, Vio and Lu Power, are inside a small shack together. Susemi is a little bit further back, holding onto the low dip bridge of the circle. An Intense Game in a 3-1 split once again, executing their 3-1 split pretty perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan is just like last game, right? They're trying to wait for Intense Game to fall asleep and strike while they are unexpectedly going to be not ready to fight back.
Relax.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get that pokey flute, Imperium, okay? But they don't have it right now. But it also playing the new weapon, which I haven't seen used too much. I'd like to see how much of an impact it potentially has, but gonna try and get a little bit of damage down with that one, with that big boy, with that bad boy. Semi right behind that tree, though. It seemed like Influence team of Latam has been spotted away. A little bit of initial damage onto PUBG. Good nade into the shutdown. Oh, but that molly, it's too good. Sure, he gets knocked, but the trade-off is so good on that utility play. The first aid comes on through, but he's still going to be absolutely lasered to the ground by Pereira. And that's their 16th elimination. They are making themselves a big impact. But where does the final player remain of the Influencer team? He's there, but not spotted out just yet. Maybe heard the footsteps, I'm not too sure. Pereira on his right will have the remaining player.
Where are you? Come out with your hands up. Intense Game. This is their game. Unlikely to have a 1v4. Miracles can happen. But right now, Susemi
it's
doesn't
Horizon.
look to want to...
It's Horizon special.
Doesn't want to make too much of a move, but now he's going to take the shots. Will try to connect on the pad. He puts him down to sliver of health. The rest of Intense, they're going to join up.
I'll look behind you a bit. Be careful, you're going to get chased down, my friend. And here you go, Semi. He's going to be rushed up instantly, and Zeus Boy, he's going in for the pan. He wants to get it. The BM, he's running away. I don't want to deal with this. He got headshot at the end. The pan didn't get him. But Intense Game, get himself the 3rd chicken dinner of the show matches, and to get himself some extra points along the way by eliminating those full squad teams of influencers. We had some of the funniest moments, I do have to say, in a long while with this system. I gotta say, it's been very entertaining every once in a while. But Intense Game, once again, proving why they are one team to be feared in this lobby. To get himself some extra points with that chicken dinner.
And by the way, just and this is kind of absolutely no shade on the influencer teams and the content creators, by the way. This is a massive example of why there is naturally such a wild and sometimes not recognized skill gap between actual competitive players and content creators that are by no means bad at the game or are generally very good at the game, but why that skill gap is there. I played in scrims myself. I'm in no way a good player, but I played in scrims myself, and it's wild how good competitive players are, how quick they are, and whether or not this is a fun format or not, it is really a genuine light being shined on why that skill gap is there, why these competitive players, whether it's Latam, Brazil, this region, that region, deserve so much more respect than they generally get, not only across PUBG Mobile, but the wider scope of esports, because
Yeah.
They are so damn skilled.
Yeah, and I would have to say also, Imperium, thank you very much for the 3 teams full of influencers that participated in these show matches. It was very, very nice to have you guys around for the party, and we had some great funny moments, so thank you very much for that, guys. But that's now time for us to say goodbye to the influencer teams as we're getting ready for the TDM section of the day, Imperium, which I believe is the first time we're doing like an official tournament with the TDM format, so I am very, very hyped to see how that is really going to be going down as 8 teams, some of the best teams over in Latam, Brazil, and North America are going to be going head-to-head in those matchups in a seeding issue. So we'll have to see how that's going to be going down. But with that said, we'll be back right after this break for the TDM matches.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence to let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie so they overlook me. Then I double up again, none of their knows, none of them cold. They just got lucky but never adapted, so I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them beat before we ever spoke, I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
De acechar.
Thank you very much for waiting, everyone, as we are back after this break, and we had an incredible finish here for the match showdowns happening here for the first 3 matches of the day. And impressive stuff coming out from Intense Game, from Alpha 7 in particular, right? And we also had some great showing from some of the influencers. And we're going to have to take a look at the overall rankings to see exactly which team is on top. But I want to have your speculation, Imperium. I think we'll have the same team in mind.
The
Which
team
team do you
begins
think
with
it is?
A.
With an A? Aton. You think Aton, don't you? Of course not. I mean, we know there's going to be Alpha 7 Imperium. That second game was absolutely out of this world when it comes to eliminating all of the teams and especially all of the most wanted players in a singular game. Intense Game almost did that in the 3rd match, but not quite close enough at what Alpha 7 were able to create over there. And a total points of 32.
I would argue that's before the point. That's
the removal
before
points?
No, that's before the kind of, bonus points, right? Between most wanted and influencers. That's just generic standard chicken dinner, 2nd place, 3rd place, and the elimination points. Surprisingly, Atom were in 2nd, but I would argue that shouldn't be the case because Intense Game had a massive game 3 and they picked up at least 2 influencer squad wipes, right? So they should probably in 2nd. Either way, yeah, Alpha 7 in 1st is definitely 100% the case.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from Alpha 7, of course. They won himself and secured 1st spot yesterday in the 6-match day that we were having, and also get himself 1st place in these showdown matches. Really, really good stuff from their side. And Alpha 7, I mean, we're going to have even more coming up, right? Because the next stage is going to be the TDMs, and we'll see if their team play is going to be there this time around. We're going to be looking at the match standings of the previous game. As we know already, Intense Game, they took themselves that chicken dinner by also eliminating a lot of the influencers. But I'm just going to skip this topic currently because we already know Alpha 7 won Imperium, so this doesn't really make a lot of sense for us to look at this.
Plus, not gonna lie, like, it doesn't make sense when they have like 10 points, 17 kills, and a total of 10 points.
Yeah, I mean I did the math, Imperium. That would explain why.
It's fair enough.
It's my math. Don't worry too much about it. But
Maxman logic.
I would love to see in the TDM, because we're going to have a special seeding format. We'll see exactly in a few minutes with the graphic, hopefully. I am really hyped if we get to a point where we have Intense Game versus Alpha 7. Like, that would be such a perfect build-up after these last 2 days of play, what we've seen unfold for these 2 teams. A head-to-head in a TDM matchup would be amazing, would be fantastic. Though I do not know which maps we're going to have in the pool for the TDM. That is something that I'm completely unaware of right now.
I hope it's a classic. I hope it's a classic TDM.
Well, the warehouse.
Yeah, the warehouse. To me, it's the easiest to track from a broadcast standpoint, from a commentating standpoint, because it's a lot more of an open map. Whereas the other TDMs or at least the one that's in my head, I forget what it's called, has kind of not underground, but does have kind of pathways that, that to me makes it a little bit trickier.
A little bit trickier. I'm not gonna lie, I am a ruins type of guy. I love myself at those ruins in TDM. I think it's potentially the best TDM map. So I'd like to see if he's in the competitive pool this time around for this tournament. We'll have to see. But Pereira also did get himself 9 total eliminations. I think a lot of those came from the eliminations on the 2 influencer teams at the end. So he definitely did a lot of work. And Zeus, boy, as we expected, has been up there, stepping up big time. And intense game versus Alpha 7. As I said, that would be my match to look out for if it does unfold in the TDM format. A lot of things going to be unfolding here, Imperium. But which team? Do you have another team potentially that you would like to maybe see how they're going to be performing in the TDM format?
Yeah, Wall Street Bets.
True.
They're playing in the first TDM match, spoiler, against Team Queso. Of course, I have a lot of love for Team Queso, but at the moment, based on kind of what we've seen in the first day and the second day and what happened with Wall Street Bets clutching up against Nova in the first influencer match. Yeah, I'd really love to see Wall Street Bets in the finals of the TDM tournament. Yeah,
and as you can see, also not really too surprised, Pereira from Intense Game does get himself the MVP award of that previous match over on Miramar. So yeah, I mean that hair, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous.
Curls.
Yeah,
man, those curls.
He's been taking care of it. Okay, I don't know if he's using product or anything, but it does definitely look like he is.
Oh, man.
And I'm losing my hair. This guy's got too much. Pereira, if you want to hit me up in the DMs and send me some of your hair so I could put it on my forehead, I would appreciate that. Okay, you would be doing me a solid.
Can someone donate some hair to Maximum, please?
Please, I'll appreciate that. Give it to me, please. We'll have to see how it's going to be working out. But, Imperium, I do believe that currently I am seeing potentially some things unfolding for the TDM. And from what I'm seeing on my screen, which is the map feed I can see right now, I believe we're not going on actual TDM maps. We're actually going to be going on like small circles over on Erangel. Potentially even other maps other than that. So we're not going to be going on others. If you check that out. But here are also going to be your seedings for the elimination format for the TDM. And here are your first matches from the quarterfinals. Wall Street Bets versus Team Queso, Alpha 7 versus Nova, Aton Esports versus Pittsburgh Knights, and also Influence Rage versus Intense Game. And I think some of the matchups, seem pretty obvious as who potentially might come out on top. But otherwise, I think that Team Queso and Wall Street Bets, that could be a match where, I'm not too sure who's going to be coming out on top. Same for Aton versus Knights. As we're just... Oh, wow. Okay. We're getting right into it. It seems on the first TDM matchup is going to be Wall Street Bets versus Team Queso.
Yeah. So this is actually nice. A little bit similar to the warehouse system in terms of it's quite in the open. Players are able to set up their own shields, but it's all about picking up those eliminations. And let's be fair, TDMs arguably does have a little bit more team coordination than you think. It can be incredibly frantic because you can lose yourself and go down as quickly as you're back up, right? So it does require a lot of quick thinking, but there is a level of strategy in terms of having your teammates back, being able to trade as quickly as possible. For Wall Street Bets right now, they're 3 points ahead, Max.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Grozers coming into play here for Mono in particular. He's going to go for the Grozer himself, and he's been able to have some decent impact here. A few crates were down, and they were able to get himself some loot for themselves. A few of these barricades also were created. Currently, it is close. Only a 1 elimination lead in favor of Wall Street Bets versus Team Queso. And Coach Emmett actually made it over to the rooftop position. Yeah. That's a huge advantage. Even just gathering that information for his team and pinging the locations of the players of Wall Street Bets, that is going to give such a huge advantage point on their side. As Team Queso
just saying though,
get
Max,
another one.
You use Grows in TDM, you have a small PP putting it out there. Sorry, it's a fact of life. So J-Woon, you've been exposed, caught in 4K. Skipper, he has the M4, he has better sense than that. He's confident, he's not overcompensating for anything at all. And it's dropping on the drop tray. He's gonna get double teamed by Wall Street Bets. However, it's still even Stevens. And if anything, Team Queso, they've gone ahead 15-13.
Oh, 2 elimination lead right now. I would disagree, though, when it comes to the Grozer. I would say that you are allowed to use it because it's available. You can use it. It's right there.
Hey, whoa, I didn't say you weren't allowed to use it. I was just saying a statement of fact in terms of the consequence.
But you've got money on the line, Imperium. And I'm going to say, who cares about your feelings? No one. Especially not me. Go for it. If you want to play with the Groza, go absolute hammer. Yala's going to go for one of the submachines here, going to get some little bit of damage done on top of it. And man, the Groza damage is really coming through for the side of Wall Street Bet. Skipper gets himself a double whammy right away. Team Kesso now losing their lead is 19 to 18, able to give himself an extra elimination on top of Skipper. And I believe if it's the usual point system from these TDMs, it should be the first to 40. So far we are halfway done.
And at one point, Team Queso were roughly about 5 points ahead. They have pushed that back to 4, but Wall Street Bets had whittled that down to just 1 point, and now they're going to have to try and do it once again. Jiwoon swinging around, Janchi using that shield to his advantage, and the third-person perspective with the support of his team was going to look to cook up an A. Not going to be the case. One of the players from Team Queso goes down, but Mono's going to turn around and get the drop into 24K with that. Actually, no, 24K technically took himself out with that nade.
Very nice job, 24K. No one can take him down except himself. That's the rule of the game, it seems. But Skipper still trying to make sure Yala can't hold on to that rooftop position. That's good. The scout, the Eye of Sauron, has been taken out of the game. As Nitsu still trying to get involved for the end of Team Kesso. 25 eliminations up to now 26, and that lead is slowly but surely building up in Team Kesso's favor. But Yala keeps getting access to that rooftop position, and Wall Street Bets are really struggling to make sure he can make it back up there. So he's really getting so much information given to his team as he drops down the barricade. Nitsu taking himself to one-on-one. Janchi trying to fight back as much as he possibly can. Gets another barricade put on down. And Janchi with the barricades might be able to make the difference. And he does indeed. Takes the fight and gets an extra point for his squad.
He's only on 2 eliminations so far, let's be fair. He needs to try and pick up a couple of more. His teammates are on 7-8. Roughly a piece. Coach Emma in his own right, up to 11 eliminations. He has over 1/3 of his team's total points, him alone. So he's absolutely flying high. His back must be sore.
I'm not gonna lie, a Vector being played in a TDM, I'm a little bit
Vector
surprised.
power, baby.
It is a great weapon. You've changed my mind on it over the ages, Imperium. I do think that the weapon definitely has its moments where it does really shine. But seen in TDM, it doesn't seem like a game mode where you would inherently want to play the Vector, right? But he's been having some really good spray downs. Like right here, Coach Emmett does it again. Eliminates Jiwoon right away. But is it going to be able to close that gap enough? I'm not too sure. We've seen some relentless pushes coming out on the side of Wall Street Bets, and they've been really struggling, but they're getting a few eliminations in a row. They're closing that gap a bit. It's only 7 eliminations. You can make the comeback, but 4 eliminations. You're seeing Wall Street Bets, Imperium. They are slowing down. They're not pushing as far anymore because they're a little bit on the back foot. But the angles, the spray downs of Team Kesso are so good. They only need 3 more, and they will be taking the first W of the TDM match down.
Skipper has gotten the elimination onto Nitsu, so 6 piece and now going to be down to 5. Unfortunately, Mono whittles it to just 2 more eliminations needed for Team K. So Janchi is going to find Nitsu.
Oh,
so close.
Does get rid of the barricade. Skipper down to a slither of HP. While the utility is being traded back and forth.
Oh,
the barricade has to make it behind that crate. 24K does make it in time, though. Going up against the full Groza squad. No extra eliminations. Really, this is so much stress on the shoulders of Wall Street Bets. But they spot him out. Sees his feet. Goes for the spray down here. Oh, no. A sneaky man, Jiwoon. Can he abuse that angle potentially? And it could make the difference. 35 to 38. This gap is closing now.
Team Queso slowdown has kind of bit them in the butt. They've allowed Wall Street Bets to play it through, but Skipper goes down. 1 more point needed for Team Queso, and it's going to man the myth, the legend, Coach Emmett, to steal the final elimination and send Team Queso into the semi-finals of the TDM.
GG, well played Team Kesso, winning themselves the first quarterfinals BO1 match, and will be our first semi-finalist team. And they're going to be playing up against the winners of Alpha 7 versus Nova Esports. A very intense match, Imperium, but I think a lot of people are going to be seeing Alpha 7 as the clear favorites for that one. But before we do head into that match, I do have to say, the Vector from Coach Emmett really had an impact I was not expecting. I saw it initially at the start, I was like, yeah, it's a bit of an odd pickup. I'm not sure how effective it might actually be. He was getting spray downs in a matter of seconds, like those flushes were going through left, right, and center. So great for Coach Emmett and really making the Vector power stand through in this game.
He was also respecting and playing accordingly to his loadout max.
Yeah,
because one of the consequences of playing the Vector is the bullets fire ridiculously quickly. So if you're not accurate or if you're not giving yourself time to reload, you are putting yourself in a pinch and you're essentially going to become a sitting target. So Coach Emma actually played a little bit from the back line at times, and that allowed him to spray fast, get elimination, reload. Spray fast, get elimination, reload, right? So he wasn't caught out as heavily as other players who were playing other loadouts. So really well thought out by Coach Emma, and a bit of a surprising result. I will say a little bit of a surprising result with Team Queso closing that one out.
Yeah. Are we going to be having a surprise? So our next matchup is going to be Nova Esports taking on Alpha 7. We'll check it out right after this break.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking
A ver, acechando.
Game 1 already in the bag here for Team Kesso as they become our first semi-finalist. But Alpha 7 versus Nova Esports is going to be our following match, and they're going to be playing in Power Plant on the Livik map, and it's going to be a 4v4 match as we always know for this one. Alpha 7 seen as a very clear favourite Imperium, but Nova Esports, do they have what it takes to potentially come out on top? We'll have to see.
Well, it's going to be a tough task for Nova, let's be fair. Alpha have already kind of got things off to a decent start. Now, this is a much different TDM map and very much close quarter combat base, so we should expect to see a lot of shotguns being utilized throughout this game. Already Mythic making that one work in his favor.
Yeah, that shotgun is absolutely cracked. Potentially we're going to see some P90 being used. I'm not too sure. We'll have to see if that's going to be in the loadout of some of the players, but seems like M4 is still going to be one of the main weapons with the UMP. So far, got himself a 7-4 lead. It's 8-4, twice as many eliminations for Alpha 7 already, and we're just barely scratching the surface. Mythic trying to go a little bit further there. Nice little jump shot, gets some nice damage done.
Okay.
Kindness holding the front
Nice.
line. And actually getting some heavy lifting done, but Carrillo not allowing the backstab to happen.
And that's the thing, like I said, there's genuinely a bit more of a strategy to TDM than you think, especially in this kind of TDM where there is a few more hard cover areas and kind of around the corners that you're able to stay hidden down, because the most important aspect of TDM is that if you're going to engage and if you're going to go down, you got to make sure you're able to trade. So kind of sticking together as maybe, let's say, a 2-2, or even if you want to be super strategic, 3-1 around the hallways of a TDM is genuinely so much more viable. It may look like a free-for-all, but if you play it right, yeah, you can crack the code of a very strong TDM performance.
I think I already sorted out the strat from Alpha 7, and if I hit it on the nose, it's actually a really smart strat. When you look at Nova, how they're moving around the map, it seems very... It doesn't seem like there's a game plan in mind, but you're looking at Alpha 7 and how they push, it seems like they're playing as two duos. There's like two tag teams.
Yep.
And because the players of Nova are a little bit spread thinly,
Oh my
they just
God,
overwhelm them with sheer
Jesus
power,
Christ.
unless you're Revo, and you just don't care at all about the feelings of your opponents, and you just go for it. And they're just getting absolutely mowed down. So Alpha 7 already up to 30 eliminations, twice as many as what Nova have. They need just 9 more, and they will be securing their spot to play against Team Kesso in the semi-finals. Man, yeah, I mean, no one's stopping Alpha 7. It was pretty much expected, and it's about to happen once more.
Nova are gonna have nightmares of the sound of that shotgun, you know that? It's like every time they hear it, it's gonna be like, oh no, the horror. Get that sound away from me, because Alpha are kind of, yeah, making them look a little bit like a casual team per se. They're nearly double the points ahead, right? They only need 4 more. This is Alpha 7's game. They're gonna make it through.
Yeah, 3 more eliminations. Revo, he's going in hot. He gets 1, gets 2 with his team. And they just need 1 more elimination, and that has gone by so fast.
Yeah.
What the hell? Alpha 7 secure their spot into the semi-finals, and next time we'll see them, we'll be facing off in a BO3 matchup in the semi-finals versus Team Kesso. Man, Alpha 7, they're going for the title once again. They've been the champions already of the first day of play here for the Americas All-Star Series. They've already been the champions for the show matches of the start of the day, and they're looking to become the crowned champions of the TDM matches. We'll be back right after this break to go for our 3rd quarter final matches of the day. And here we go. 2 semi-finalists already taken into account. Is going to be Team Kesso versus Alpha 7. We'll have to see how that's going to be panning out. But right now, for the next matchup, Imperium is going to be Aton versus Pittsburgh Knights. If I did not get that one wrong, hopefully I haven't. And this is a matchup that I think two teams that have each equal chance to make it forward. I think that Aton might be seen as a slightly favorite team, but we know how good the individual prowess of some of the players of Knights can be. So I think that could be a factor in TDM that could be very impactful when it comes to it.
I'm gonna hedge my bets on Pittsburgh Knights. No disrespect to Aton Esports, but I know fundamentally I think Pittsburgh Knights will eke this one out. You're right in saying that it can be any team, and I'm not saying it's going to be like a Alpha 7 style domination from Pittsburgh Knights. I could easily see it come down to the final elimination, but I'm certainly hedging my bets on Pittsburgh Knights, and whoever does win out on that, at least they won't have to face Alpha 7 in the semi-finals. They will possibly have to face they will have to face either Intense Game or Influence Rage, which will be a battle in itself. But you take it step by step, and like I said, Pittsburgh Knights is for me the team that's going to win this one.
Yeah, and I think the Intense Game, if you have to face up against them, might just be a little bit of a tricky one to take down. Influence Rage, I think, has been a little bit... It's not been their best event so far, I would say, by a long shot. But Influence Rage, you know what? Still have that great individual prowess. Okay, that has not changed in the slightest. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Influence Rage versus Intense Game is actually going to be going down. But you said you're rooting for Knights Imperium. I'm going to be backing up the boys from Aton Esports to see how that's going to be panning out. I want to see more from Fran. I want to see more from Senatex in particular, if they're actually going to be using that combo into it. And I think the strat of having 2 duos playing into it is going to be very interesting. I would like to see more of that strat being used by these guys, but I do see this time around we're going to be playing towards, I believe, towards Kampong, currently on Sanhok, and a very low building count that we're going to be playing with, and seeing how that's going to be working out for the teams.
A lot more open, less reliability in terms of a shotgun loadout. So more of the UMPs, M4s, obviously the Grozas will come into the mix, and even the utility in the form of the nades are very important in this kind of TDM. 1 apiece so far. Good start from both sides.
There's going to be a lot of snaking potentially happening, a lot of off angles, just like now what Spec just did. They had no information on one of the players, and boom, that's an instant off angle resulting in an extra elimination. So things are going to be pretty sneaky. I think this might be one of the slowest TDM ones because of the map layout. But Choco putting up some really good defense, but it does work out and work even further with Senatexa. And so far, 3-3. I thought it was going to be a little bit of an even matchup, but so far it is leading up to that expectation.
You've also got the elevation difference, which arguably plays a much bigger impact than the cover or lack of hard cover, right? You said it in terms of the snake ability that can come into play. And I think on this kind of TDM, playing the edge of the blue zone is probably the best strategy because your back is automatically covered, so you only really have to look at a 180-degree angle around you, and I think that's for the most part what Alpha 7 have been trying to do in the last couple of seconds.
I think that's been a potential approach, and we'll see if they can keep finding and reaping success with that strat. As the Groza, it seemed like it's just the main weapon everyone wants to get. You can just decide your loadout before even going into the game, so the Groza is just going to be the main game plan for these guys, it seems. Utility going to be chucked by Choco. I think flashbangs could actually be really impactful in this kind of open area. I would like to see more flashbangs being used, but it seemed like it's not been the meta, at least for this match in particular.
No, not at all. Okay, pistol, Senatex are really flexing
Scorpion,
on that one. I think, by the way, Knights recognize the edge strat that Alpha 7 were doing and counter them, kind of, fire, what was it, like, breathe fire with fire kind of thing. So Alpha 7 have been forced to go down a bit of a different route, and it seems like they've gone for a bit more of a 2-2 spread. Knights have them somewhat kind of backed into a corner, and there's some good angles to the point where they're ahead by 5 points max.
Yeah, just to help you out, Imperium, I think it's to fight fire was fire, I think is
Bingo.
is
Fight fire with fire.
that's the one. That's the one we're going with here. But Tensor
Don't know,
going
I
for the
don't
angle
know.
too with the UMP. UMP, I mean, really with this one, the fact you can just laser down players with a great recoil pattern of the UMP, I think works great because you see one player that's going to be potentially sneaking in the background, and you don't have a huge hitbox. I think this weapon makes a lot of sense to be used here. I'm seeing someone with a shotgun here. Center Texas.
No way.
Maybe not the best
Really?
type of weapon to go with. Shotguns in general on this one might be a little bit of a tough situation to put yourself in because that you don't have the opportunity to close that range. So it's a risk, and I don't think it's going to potentially work out for him.
No, not at all. No, they have closed the gap. It's 3 points difference, so they've slowed Knights down in a pretty positive way. Utility being utilized by Spec. Throws out, won't connect. Goose backs around.
So he can't move.
Behind a rock, and Xenox is behind a dilapidated vehicle as he is being supported by his teammates. Choco pushes forward, gets an elimination point. Just 2 points in it.
Yeah, Xenotexa can't really move forward that much. If he does to try and close that gap because of his shotgun,
Coops has the angle, right?
he's just going to get punished. Whoa! Okay, that range actually is a lot more impressive than I thought initially. Now he's closed that gap. He's like a wolf inside of a barn. He's ready to strike and get all those elimination. Goes for the one tap, does get himself some nice damage, a little bit of tick damage here and there. And he just goes even further, confirms it. Xenotexa, they allowed him to close that gap. That is a play you cannot afford to happen. And Xenotexa, he knows he's not going to win it, so he's just waiting, prowling in the distance in the shadows, and waiting to strike when the players get close once more.
A little bit of a solid spread from Alpha 7. Like I said, Xenotexa became a bit of a heavy nuisance. Knights were forced to back off. And
this is close.
Yeah, okay, they've been able to trade. We did kind of say that it was going to be close for the most part, and I always played out the fact that if Knights were going to win, it was probably going to be by 1 or 2 points. And I think it's been no more than 4 points gap between the two teams, and at the moment it's 1 point.
It is 1 point. Well, now 2 going to be coming up. A very, very close matchup, which I pretty much expected going into this. I think this is going to be the closest match so far in this TDM matchup. The Groza meta is still in play, and I think that Xenotexa gave up on the shotgun play. I don't see him with it, at least right now. I don't think so. So he might have swapped it out for another one. See, man, we're swapping between players real quick. Yeah, I think he went over to the UMP play here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Xenotexa gave up.
It's good to keep the teams guessing, right? It's good to keep your opponents guessing.
Swap it up, yeah.
Yeah, swap it up. It's a really great way of just bamboozling your opponents in the right way. Xenox goes down. Bruno's rewarded with a little bit of patience on the lip of the hill inside the southern edge of the circle, supported by his teammate. Coops is further back, laying prone down, pulling off a bit of a rising move. Should be able to catch a Fran. That's a wonderful spray with the Groza. 31 to 29. Knights are only 9 points away from securing their spot in the semi-finals of the TDM tournament.
I think that's a good plan from Coops. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw the silence on his Groza, so he's just trying to be that sneaky player, being really hard to actually pinpoint down and to have those extra little angles and surprises coming on through. Xenox spotted out, one shot from Xenotexa, and that's an extra elimination. 33 to 31, 33 to 32 right now. The gap is closed more and more by the second.
God.
Anyone can still take this matchup. Anyone can make it up there. It's a BO1, so whoever loses this one on the finish line will not go to the semi-finals and will miss out for a shot of that prize pool. It's Tensor getting involved on Xenotexa. Xenotexa cannot take the brink and will be taken down.
This is so close. 5 points each for both sides. It's going to come down to a photo finish. 36 to 35. Max is setting up for the fatal blow. 37 to 35. 3 points needed for Pittsburgh. Knights are in a little bit of a point where they can technically trade in a bit more of an aggressive manner. Bruno put down to half health.
Yeah, now things are slowing down severely. Teams are like, oh, if we get eliminated now, it's GG, so we can't really afford it.
Exactly.
Bruno had an opportunity, nice little spray down, maybe time to go for the push. They do get the knockdown onto Tensor. That's a headshot, exactly what he want from Tensor.
Utility, nade.
37 to 37, that nade could be huge. The flashbang's going to be used up, but they don't make anything of it, I believe. And the nade does not quite hit its mark. I'll see Bruno, the nade comes in hot.
Oh my god.
Gets some big damage, but unfortunately the knock does not ensue.
Tick tock, tick tock. Time is potentially up. We also have the timer, Max. 2.5 minutes Seems like both teams are slowing
Oh,
down,
no!
but Bruno scales back. He gets eliminated.
Oh, went too far back and got spotted away last second. 2 more eliminations remain for Knights. Again, another one more. That's all they need, but the remontada is possible for Aton. They just have to believe and make things happen for them. Choco is going to be pushed. He's solo currently. He's going to be potentially overwhelmed. And overwhelmed he shall become, as it is the Knights securing himself the victory on their first match in TDM.
So close. It really could have gone any of these two teams' way, and in the end, Knights were able to eke out that little bit of patience in the tail end. Bruno, he was doing a great job, right? He took that one utility here, one utility there, but arguably, Aton maybe scaled back a little bit too much, and I get that they were in a position where they were behind on a point, so they couldn't technically afford to go down. But also, I suppose, maybe high risk, high reward, where they could have maybe played off the fact that Bruno was distracting a couple of the Knights players, and the 3 remaining players maybe could have done something, but in the end, it was close, and Knights were able to find the final blow and book their spot in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that means Knights make it to the semi-finals, and we'll have to face up against the winner of our next match, which is going to be Influence Rage taking the fight versus Intense Game. We'll check out that match right after this break.
Welcome everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking for...
Debe acechar.
Next upcoming matchup to close off the quarterfinal series here to know which 4 teams will be moving on to the semi-finals. Influence Rage, intense game. A very intense matchup, if I might say so, Imperium. Pun none intended. But really, after this hot streak we've seen from intense games so far in this tournament on both days, I think that they can be seen as potential favorites, but Influence Rage have that background that make it that you cannot overlook them. So anyone, just like the previous matchup, can come out on top here.
Never count Influence Rage out. That's one thing I've always had in the back of my mind, especially after getting a lot more experience understanding and commentating these LATAM teams for sure. But intense game, no doubt about it. They've impressed us massively over the last couple of days. So I kind of maybe it's just that kind of, you know, fresh, young, like the kind of what is fresher in our minds. But I'm putting intense game on the forefront. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Influence Rage because I like having a split desk over here. We'll have to see. But here we go, right into the heat of the action. We are playing in a section of Yasnai, Polyana on Orangle, ladies and gentlemen, for this 4th match of the day. See how things are going to be playing out for some of these guys.
Baby.
Yep, Shotgun's going to be also in play. Shotgun seems very meta with the Groza and the UMP. Seem like everyone's just going to be reaping these ones out. It's going to be around the rooftop position here, a little bit of back and forth once again.
Oh my god.
Federal just instantly claps it in the face, and man, 7 eliminations already in flavor of Influence Rage. But you don't want to forget that the closer you get towards the end, things are going to slow down, and that's where really the tides could change at the drop of a hat. As Kowalski does some heavy lifting, man. The shotguns for the side of Influence Rage really doing some heavy work.
He's already on a third of the eliminations for his team as a total, and as he plays inside the windows of the building, suddenly he's going to get shut down 12-6, double the points for Influence Rage. Make that more than double as Law just rocks around with the shotgun blast, creating the freedom, creating the fight, and Influence Rage, my god, they're making mince meat of intense game.
They're just bulldozers here, Imperium. They're just carving their way through the mountain, creating a tunnel to make it into the semi-finals itself. They're just the hard way, forcing their way through this. I don't know how to put it in a different way. There's just utter destruction on their side. Currently twice as many eliminations as the side of Intense Game, and Intense Game are maybe trying to think of swapping out their loadout or playing a little bit more as a team, because right now they're just split and being overwhelmed by a lot of the pushes from Influence Rage. Currently fighting on the rooftop once again, and Influence Rage defending their position as much as they possibly can, but Zeus there to say something about it.
Fundamentally, Influence Rage are playing a much quicker game. It's a little bit minuscule, but when all 4 players are playing a quicker, more reactive game, that very quickly adds up, right? You can see that as soon as one elimination comes through, they're instantly looking for the next, where it feels like Intense Game are kind of breathing too much in between the eliminations. Kind of like, okay, we got elimination, slow down, boys. No, this is TDM. There's no time to slow down. You either adapt, you either get quicker, or you lose. And right now, man, Intense Game are losing.
Yeah, and I think the fact that we are seeing most of Intense Game being so stubborn, like they want to stick to the Groza, to the UMPs, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
We're seeing one shotgun being played on their side, but in this close quarter combat position on CDM, you cannot win against it. You just can't with ARs. Like, the meta are shotguns, and if you don't play the shotguns and you're playing AR against them, 99% of the time you cannot win that trade. Maybe not, that's not like exact math, but I do want to say it is very rough. So Influence Rage do win their match and will be moving on to the semi-finals. Semi-finals now going to be just around the corner. Really hyped to see how that's going to be working out, because now we've got our 4 teams moving on forward, and the next matchups, Imperium, are going to be really, really close quarter combat, and it's going to be really close to see who's going to move on to the finals.
Little bit sad that we're not going to have the Alpha 7 intense gaming matchup.
Yeah.
But Influence Rage, they have a rich history with Alpha 7 as well. Let's be respectful to Influence Rage. They're kind of the old guard per se, and they've had very successful years so far in PUBG Mobile competitive. So we shouldn't really be surprised in our own right of how dominant they were in that TDM matchup. It's obviously going to be a much different ball game against Alpha 7. Never mind the fact that we also need to consider that was that particular TDM map to the absolute detrimental positive to Influence Rage? Possibly. Either way, like I said, it's going to be a much tougher task.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of the teams already that qualified to the semi-finals already playing a lot with the shotguns, right? And I think that potentially if they're looking at these previous matches we just had, I think everyone caught on to like, okay, shotguns actually really good when it comes to this. So that's going to be the play style that we're going to be potentially seeing, like shotgun versus shotgun. And it's going to be down to who pulls the trigger faster, who's going to have the better reaction time, peeking around those corners, those edges. I think that's going to be the name of the game going into it. But we'll have to see. Anyways, with that said, we are going to be now ready for a break, ladies and gentlemen. And after this, we'll be getting ready for our first semi-final, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
Debe acechar.
Thank you so much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen, and we are getting ready right now to jump into our first semi-finals of the TDM elimination matchup here for the Americas All-Stars. And first off, Imperium, for our first BO3 is going to be Team Kesso versus Alpha 7. Two teams that I think we know have both understood the meta of the shotguns when it comes to TDM, so this one has a very big chance to be an absolute banger when it comes down to it.
It's going to be a massive mountain for Team Queso to climb to get the better of Alpha 7. It's going to be a logistics center TDM matchup between these two teams. You're dead right about that shotgun meta, but Alpha 7 definitely proved their strategical prowess against Nova Esports, right? You highlighted it, and I echo the fact that they kind of were playing in pairs and they were just incredibly effective against Nova Esports. But Team Queso, they have a lot to offer, and don't doubt what Nitsu can pull off.
Yeah, we're going to be back in the Livic this time around, but in a different location. We're going to be in the Logistics Center. I believe that's going to be the name of the location we're playing with, so teams are going to be playing that spot. Team Queso playing their way versus Alpha 7. And I believe with this kind of map, actually, you don't really have to go for shotguns as much. You've got a lot of openings where ARs could be a lot more impactful, so this is maybe one of the few maps where like shotguns can still be used, but are not as necessary as needed.
And that Vector from Coach Emmett on this hard cover around the logistic center area will be incredibly powerful, right? Because when you peek outside of the box, it's flat road. So it's a clear shot. Right, look what Coach Emmett is doing. Now, it's still a 5-point lead for Alpha 7, so the rest of Team Queso are going to have to try and pick up their pace. But certainly Coach Emmett, you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. Plus, one thing to make note of, Max, that we haven't really touched upon, this semifinals, it's a best of 3. So you can bounce back.
But look at Alpha 7, though. We've seen so many angles being taken, and because you're playing like this box crate area, those off angles are so good because you're nullifying a lot of the defenses, the hiding spots that Team Queso have. I think Team Queso are trying to do a very similar approach, maybe not to the same extent as Alpha 7, but there's definitely an approach to it that's pretty similar. Yeah. Nice takedown here coming out from Mythic. He's going to be able to win it. Mono also wins himself a one-on-one. Things have slowed down a little bit when it comes to eliminations, getting picked up by both teams. Arivo does have himself a nice little barricade set up, but these barricades don't have a lot of HP Imperium, so it's very easy for the opposing side to take them down.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to rely on it. You just want to help it aid you in forming a stronger level of hard cover when you place it beside a set of boxes and, like you said, using it to gather a little bit of intel along the way. By the way, one thing that I think is pretty observant is the lack of utility in this TDM, and it's right. The utility in this with the amount of hard cover is really not worthwhile unless it's a random nade or it's the perfectly calculated one to slow a player from your opponents. But other than that, it's just spray and pray and push in with that loadout that you have. Don't worry about throwing at any kind of real utility.
I think Grenade's actually really good on this map. I mean, we're seeing it being used a lot right here because the crates make it very easy for you to predict, and the spawn locations are very similar every single time. If you have a good idea of where they're going to spawn, you can just use them and get it used effectively. So
fair.
I think actually Grenade has had some success. Of course, you need to be smart of how you use it, but I think this is actually a map where you can be getting some good impact with it. Carrillo loses that trade-off, and Coach Emmett doing that thing you mentioned earlier, right? You peek, you shoot, go for the reload, and that's how you're going to make the Vector actually somewhat work out in this map. So Coach Emmett's been having some pretty good impact when it comes to this game in particular. 24-20, that gap has closed significantly, and Alpha 7 slowly but surely catching up to the lead of Team Queso.
Clearly a much tougher opponent than the former Team Queso for Alpha 7. They got to the semi-final stage, so it's certainly to be expected. 26-23 in the favor of Team Queso. They are in the lead, Max. They have Alpha 7 a little bit in their back pocket, but You never doubt what Team K, what the side of Alpha 7 can do to turn this TDM around, and Team Queso are gonna have to have every single second of their wits about them if they're gonna stay ahead of Alpha 7 until the bitter end.
Yeah, only a 3 elimination lead here for Team Queso, so we're starting to get to the end game of this one, so things might start to slow down a little bit for Alpha 7 as they know they can't really afford too many extra deaths. They're going to have to try something out. What an angle for Mafioso.
wow.
2 for the price of 1. Coach Emmett, I don't think the Vector will be enough to hold on to it unless Mono has the perfect off angle. Tries to defend it, but Alpha 7 on the full-on offensive. They want to turn this game back in their favor. It had some impact. It's down to 33-33. They closed that gap currently. Now it's anyone's game. 7 eliminations to see who secures the first game of this BO3.
Great shots by Creo with the Groza from the backline, catches Ayala out in the open. He tried to get a couple of shots up, but it wasn't meant to be. Now Ayala looking to get picked off once again, and
Nice.
that nade worked out wonderfully. You made a great call on why nades can be effective on this map, and that's the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, the nades are being really impactful, especially for Alpha 7. It seems Mafioso not winning his trade versus Coach Emmett. The Vector power still present in really, really big ways, but only 2 more eliminations needed for Team Queso. 3 remaining for the side of Alpha 7.
Mono.
Peeks through, does not get the shot. The nade does not get cooked any further, and what a peek from Mono. Only 1 more needed for Team Queso, and they can wrap it up and secure the first point over here. Does get Coach Emmett though. 39-39. 1 more. It's down to the death match, and it does get secured away by, I'm not even sure, Team Queso secure the final elimination and get the first point of this semi-finals.
Oh my god, you know what? TDM between competitive teams.
That was great.
It's a little bit damn exciting to watch, right? You strip it down, you see class quick reactions, you see the deeper strategical formations of what can be used in these TDM maps. And you just see some wonderful clutch moments. Well done to Team Queso. Certainly a little bit of a shock in this first semi-final, taking a game against Alpha 7. They do that again, they booked their spot in the finals.
Yeah, especially Ayala really helped Team Queso secure this game, going some really good positions a lot of the time, gathering information and really stopping the push from Alpha 7 from happening. But with that said, we're going to head on over to a very, very short break, ladies and gentlemen, so stick around for the second match of this BO3 series.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
Debe acechar.
Yeah.
Match 1 of the semi-finals goes in favor of Team Kesso by a singular elimination. It was that close, but it's still room for comeback here for Alpha 7 to get 2 games in a row and to potentially secure the first spot in the finals of the TDM elimination format. Though, moving on to this next map, Imperium, we're going to be going in Camp Alpha, and I do think we might have a different set of weapons that will be impactful in this position.
Let freedom reign with a shotgun blast. That is it. The close quarter combat fights will break out inside the Camp Alpha buildings, and certainly a level of nostalgia, right? An area of this Sanhok map that generally these players should be more than familiar with.
Well, Mafioso, bird's eye view here over absolutely everyone in the lobby, trying to get that information, maybe a few peek downs, but we are seeing Team Kesso going for the shotguns, and I did mention it before going in the game, like, I think this is way more of a shotgun map than what we had previously on Livik, and so they're going to try and play it. Nitsu not quite able to get the shot here, and Akario from leeway here, getting so much damage done with that M4. Coming from behind is going to be Mono, but fails to get the upper hand on Carillo. This man just overwhelmingly good with that sheer power on the M4. A-game spray down from Ayala is going to be doing great work, but it is currently a slower paced game as teams are really trying to create that advantage.
And it's very difficult around this area, to be fair, because there's not so much space. I know it's TDM, so generally you tend not to have much space, but the kind of space that is available in this area is really kind of isolated, and it's kind of one extreme to another. Now, Coach Emmett definitely doesn't seem to be as effective as he was in the previous game. I don't know if he is using a Vector. If he is, I would advise him to switch over to the shotgun.
Yeah, this is not a Vector map, I can tell you that much. You want to play the shotgun. You want to do what Team Kesso have been doing so far with the utility. Alpha 7 have been doing so far with the shotguns. They've been having great success. In particular, Mythic has been popping off with Ayala. See if they can keep on holding it through, but here Team Kesso starting to fall behind. There's a potential comeback that is shown the top of its head. Ayala doing even more with a shotgun, and yeah, the decision-making of committing to the ARs apparently is not working out for Team Kesso, and Emmet has got the Grows at least for that nade. So nade. Clean for Mafioso, and halfway done for Alpha 7. They just got an extra 18 eliminations needed to secure 1 point in the semi-finals.
And that's a kind of a question as it happens that we just seen something happen. But do you think this TDM is a bit of a utility TDM map, or
no.
is it less like I would agree with it. I don't think it's so much of a utility map, to be fair. Just as I say that, Revo does find one, but for the most part, it's not going to be too advantageous.
I would say the reason why is because Alpha 7 are cracked when it comes to their utility, right?
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Even though it's not mapped, I'm like, oh, utility is going to be really impactful. It is Alpha 7 you're talking about, and they've shown it in like your normal like Battle Royale games that they are going to pop off with that utility. It doesn't matter what map you're on, they're still going to do really, really well. That gap has been closing a little bit, very slowly in favor of Team Kesso, but you're getting to the point where only 10 eliminations are needed for Alpha 7. Like, a comeback is still possible, but from how things have been going so far and the advantage that has been created from the shotguns alone, Alpha 7, they're not making any major mistakes here. They're just dominating through and through. Mafioso gets a double whammy right there. And I think we can already call it, Imperium, that we are, in fact, going to go to Game 3 for the first semi-finals match.
Definitely a clear example of how the different TDM maps do make a difference in the ability for a team to be more successful or less successful. Yeah, okay, the map in itself maybe doesn't have a big difference, but that massively influences the loadout that you have, and that loadout, that's going to be the biggest impact in Alpha 7. They get the win, they even things up, and those shotguns must be on fire after that.
Not even a close call in this one. Team Kesso just got absolutely obliterated and got sent into another dimension right there with the shotguns of Alpha 7 make an absolute presence happening on their side. That means currently it is 1-1 in the matchup between Alpha 7 and Team Kesso. One match will decide their fate. Do they stop here, or will they continue their adventure in the TDM elimination format into the finals to face up against the other winners of the other semi-finals? It was an intriguing one, but the important factor, Imperium, that I have to say is you need to take into account is depending on which map you go to, you need to choose your weapon accordingly to the situation, according to the terrain, and make full use of it. With that said, we'll be back right after this very short break to get ready for the third matchup of Alpha 7 versus Team Kesso.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
Acechan.
Our final match of Team Kesso versus Alpha 7 is now going to be unfolding, and whoever wins this match moves on to the finals. They face off against the winner of Influence Rage versus the Knights, our second semi-finals match. But here, Imperium, I want to open up the bets here on this matchup. Team Kesso versus Alpha 7, which team has your vote for this match?
Mainly purely because of what TDM location is the centerpiece for this matchup. It's gonna have to be Alpha 7. The final countdown is here, and time for me has kind of run out for Team Queso. Their luck is out of their side because we're gonna be in this close quarter combat area of the map, and with a lot of buildings, a lot of hard cover, those shotguns from Alpha 7, they're gonna once again get on fire.
Yeah, I do agree at the end of the day, Alpha 7 also do come out as a very clear favorite, but I like going for the underdog, so I'm going to say I want to see Team Kesso potentially prevail and come out on top in this matchup. But I do see that our map here is going to be a military base of Erangel.
It is.
And it's going to be towards the southern-eastern side of the U-shaped building, so we're going to be playing that, see how things are going to be paying off for these guys. Team Kesso versus Alpha 7 begins. It seemed like Alpha 7 going back to the shotgun, and really in this building in particular, shotguns are going to be so important. I hope Team Kesso has looted up for this game.
There is a tiny bit more depth around covering the outside area to keep Team Queso locked inside the building, right? So a little bit like a shepherd herding the sheep into the gated area of the field. There is that element in play, but for the most part, the brute force of those shotguns will be the biggest impact.
I really like how Alpha 7 are making this happen. Carrillo playing with UMP. I think the game plan is just sending his players forward, do the damage. If they can't get the flush, boom, he's there to clean up with the UMP. It seems like that's the game plan. Mythic going back in, gets a double, maybe a triple coming up.
Oh my god, Revo!
God.
Jesus Christ!
It is answered in kind by Team Kesso. Like, we are seeing currently,
Definitely.
I believe, 2 shotguns, maybe 3 shotguns on Team Kesso's side. I'm not 100% sure how many are played. I'm also seeing a UMP on their side, I think. So it is definitely going back to the shotgun meta between these two teams. So definitely a more even chance for Team Kesso to fight back, currently in 1 elimination lead in favor of Team Kesso. But Carrillo spots him out, switched over from the UMP over to the Groza. And we'll try and get him off that elimination. Doesn't quite work out, though.
Yeah, definitely. Team Queso are giving Alpha 7 a heavy taste of their own medicine, so the trades are certainly there, and it's a much closer battle than I expected. Alpha 7 are keeping it within kind of 2 to 4, so they're not allowing Team Queso to be too close or even get into the lead. But I can definitely say well done to Team Queso for clearly communicating with each other from that previous TDM, kind of going, look guys, we need to step up, knowing what map is there, and kind of going, yeah, we're getting the shotguns, we're going to give them that taste of medicine onto Alpha 7.
It's always around that like 1, 2, 3 elimination difference. So it's literally going to be down to the last elimination, just like in game 1 potentially. So really down to the wire for these guys. We are seeing that shotgun once again being so impactful. And this shotgun in particular, like the range it offers to you, like even though there's a little bit of range inside the buildings and even on the outside sides, because the range is so good, it doesn't matter what range you're at, you're going to do some heavy damage on this map in particular. So they're just really abusing the weapon in really strong fashion. Currently 28 to 28, 12 eliminations needed
so close
to be crowned the winners of the semifinals and move on. But they took the lead currently, as you say.
31 to 30. This is the final countdown. Let's be fair. It's a best of 3. Each team is 1 TDM apiece. This is it. Do or die. And Team Queso have made a wild lead. 4 points ahead.
Man, so many wipeouts coming out from Team Queso in just a matter of seconds here. 4 eliminations needed. 8 needed, now 7 for Alpha 7. They're doing some self-engaging. You need to hold on to the ridge line, but the nades are being used. They can't hold on to the positions for too long. The nades are being strong. 4 more needed. Team Queso Mono going for the push. We'll have a trade-off one-on-one. As long as they keep doing one-on-one trade-offs, it works out fine.
36.
Alpha 7 slowly doing a comeback. Who's going to get it here, Imperium?
They're not trading, though. Team Queso are not trading. They've thrown away minimum of 3 eliminations in the past couple of seconds.
2 more.
Mono's able to clutch it
more.
up. 39 to 36.
Just 1 more needed for Team Queso. Mono's very low. Got to be careful. They both got taken down. Carrillo out of nowhere gets 1, 2, and 3. And Alpha 7 do the comeback at the very last second on the finish line and secure themselves the 3rd match and Warbush himself up in the finals.
Oh my god, that final TDM was way more intense than I expected it to be. Team Queso took a 4-point lead and they threw it away. They didn't trade. They lost 2. And then Creo came in and said, okay, no one else is going to step up. Boom, bish, bash, bosh. I'm going to get the 2-piece. I'm going to sweep around and I'm going to get the final blow. Team Queso, your days are numbered. My god.
Okay, can we get some Carrillo Giga chat in the chat right now? Like, that man just single-handedly took that game, shifted it all over the place and said, actually, no, we take the win and we make it over to the finals. Like, Carrillo, this is what we love to see. Really good job from them. Team Queso, unfortunate, at least they did play the shotguns. It was a really good attempt from the guys, but unfortunately they cannot go the entire way. But Alpha 7, now looking at this means that potentially we will be having some 2 Brazilian teams fighting in the finals. It'll depend based on who will be winning our 2nd and last semi-finals here. It's going to be interesting to see who out of Knight and Influence Rage will be winning that one. We'll see you for that match in just a few short minutes.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking
A ver, acechar.
Our first finalist team has now been decided. Alpha 7 make their way forward and will be contesting against the winners of Knights versus Influence Rage. And I'm seeing a split chat currently. People saying it's going to be Knights, people saying it's going to be Influence Rage. Still out there to see who out of these two teams, who out of North America and Brazil will make it to the next step. But as we saw last game in Imperium, it was close down to the wire, down to just the last few eliminations to decide who makes it further. And I think this could be a very similar fate for these guys.
You couldn't have written a better story as well, to be fair, Max. Influence Rage and Pittsburgh Knights. Both of these teams drop in boot camp. Guess where the TDM map is? The warehouses of boot camp. You really couldn't write this. You could not write this. I'm so excited for this, and if you're looking at it, I definitely would prefer overall to see Pittsburgh Knights go through to have that NA representative in the finals, but you know, I can understand it if you're going to be on the side of Influence Rage because they are a big team.
This is peak fiction. I would take this any day of the week compared to the last season of Game of Thrones, I can tell you that much, Imperium, but we'll have to see how things are going to be panning out. Already a few eliminations potentially coming out off the back of some grenades. One grenade actually elimination came out from Influence Rage. Grenades would be really good on this map because of the way you can predict players being around, so grenades will definitely be a part of the game. Though, shotguns also I would say could be relatively interesting, but the way these warehouses work out, I do believe that ARs in general are just going to be a lot easier to use. And if you can make it on the right side of these like little walls, where Lil Boy is currently trying to aim to get towards, like you're really denying a lot of mobility to happen for the opposing side, so that's great. But Federal, he's back there with a shotgun. Actually, a lot of players from Influence Rage are trying to go for the shotgun play, and so far it's been a very slow game based on like how the buildings work.
But look at this from Influence Rage. They have a 3-1 split. It's a wonderful angle because what it's doing is not only is it covering hard areas by having that off-angle player to the right-hand side that covers the open terrain, but the three that are in that backline warehouse, any kind of breach that comes in from Pittsburgh Knights is going to instantly be shut down. PK need to try and fight fire with fire and set up a 3-1 split of their own.
Oh no, the thing is that Knights have no shotgun, so if they close that gap, which is what's happening right now, Influence Rage are going to win that 9 times out of 10. The strength of Knights going for full ARs is making sure that Influence Rage do not close that gap. You cannot allow them to do it. If you do that mistake, you're going to give them 2-3 eliminations, which is exactly what happened right there. And you're seeing it, Influence Rage are creating a lead for themselves. Knights need to be careful and seem like they're going a little bit more on the offensive here and trying to keep Influence Rage at bay as Kaoski going for a little bit of the wide wraparound, but that range on that shotgun is so insane that even ARs can't do much against it.
It can be amazing how quick a lead can be improved in a matter of seconds, right? It was 6, it's now up to 8, it was 10 at one point. There's scope for Knights to get back into it. If they are not going to have any kind of shotgun loadout, they need to really try and use that lack of shotgun loadout to their advantage and draw Influence Rage out into the open.
Kaoski's in the barn, and he's going to do some damage, I believe. We'll have to see, but he's definitely going to be putting an extra layoff stress on them. Ready to go for the push here, and does actually lose the fight to Tensa. Really good way. He's just been strafing left and right. Strafing was on point. Hopefully they can do more of that. The gap has definitely closed. I feel like a setup has been found by the Knights. What a turnaround from Coops. 2 for the price of 1. Gonna reset the spawns. And now going for Federal. Federal, by the way, not with a shotgun in hand. He's playing for the UMP.
Great
It gives an opening to Coops. Coops single-handedly closing that gap with his team. And now Influence Rage. No point advantage. 14-14. Still anyone's game. And Knights have found the successful setup. But Law trying to close the gap and trying to get into that shotgun range.
Knights are playing to their loadout. And that's what I kind of said. Yeah, okay, I highlighted about drawing them out into the open, but they're doing something a little bit different, but arguably just as good, right? They have even the flow, but they've got to be careful not to allow themselves to get back into the corner of the warehouses where the shotgun can come into its own and from the Influence Rage. Boys, 15 each, they can't afford to trade within reason. They're just going to make sure that trade goes their way and that they're able to stave off the pressure from Influence Rage.
I do have to say I'm really impressed with what Knights have been able to bring to the table here.
Yeah.
That, because of their response, all of Influence Range changed to ARs. They're like, shotguns are not working. Knights have found the perfect strat to counter the shotguns, which has not happened yet. In this tournament, it has not happened. So Knights really being Giga Chads, really being big brain, 5,000 IQ'd in this game. Really love the execution on their end. There is still one player, though, Kowski, playing with a shotgun, so you need to be wary of that play in particular.
And that's why there is genuinely a little bit of a deeper level to the strategy of a TDM, especially when you include these competitive teams that are already used to communicating, already used to setting up strategies in the real world, per se, in terms of a full-on competitive PUBG mobile game. And Knights have taken their time, they found the flow, they're getting the drop shots, they're using the ARs, and they do have a lead inside this game. 2 in their favor.
Wait, Federal's playing was the M24. What's going on over here? We're playing some bolt action in this TDM. I mean, okay, fair enough. I mean, normally most of the time that should be a one-tap, so we'll see how that's going to be panning out. Coop's taking the fight once again, like, god damn, Coop's he's on 12 eliminations.
Yeah.
He's doing a half of the eliminations of his team on this lonesome, showing why he's one of the best teams in the West. Oh, sorry, one of the best players in the West, should I say. I mean, he does feel like a team of his own
in the West.
sometimes, but he is currently dominating and single-handedly allowing his team to have this 5-point lead.
He's the best player in North America. Simple as that. He's the best PUBG Mobile player in North America, and he's proving it right here, right now. Tencent in his own right can certainly feel the flow in the right moments. He's up to 5 eliminations. Spec needs to provide that level of support back into the warehouse as he goes, scales him down. But puts Kwaski in the open, and Kwaski drops on down and shows Spec how it's done.
Kwaski nicely done. Though Coops here still with the Groza, waiting for a player to push. Federal going to try and be a little bit sneaky, not make that audio cue. I believe he's still playing the shotgun. Yeah, Federal went back to the shotgun. It seemed like they reverted away from ARs back to shotguns. Like, they have been really trying to adapt with how Knights are playing and trying to be unexpected as much as possible. Like, it does require a little bit of time to set up the response to shotguns. Spec does take a little bit of damage to the nade. Federal's going to go for the reload, but just jumps up, gets one for the double. And it seems like Knights were expecting the ARs to still be in play, but they switched over to the shotguns again. They're playing mind games on Knights and really allowing them to close that gap. 26-26. The gap has been lost and it's back to even playfields between these two teams. Man, the break plays are really fun to look at.
I tell you what, though, I could see this game going down to the timer. We got 3 minutes left. Yeah, okay, we're kind of over halfway through both of the teams getting to that 40-point mark, but there has been a notable level of slowdown across the teams. Maybe it's because Influence Rage were trying to switch back over to that shotgun loadout with Kowalski in the backline. Well, Kowalski has the Groza, but Law, for example, and Federal both have the shotguns in their hands.
They're just cycling through ARs and also with the shotguns. They're just consistently shifting through them to make sure that they're just unpredictable. And it is really messing with Knights, I have the impression that sometimes. Sometimes they're going for the push thinking it's a shotgun, it's actually an AR, so they lose the trade. And sometimes they just don't push it and they just get rushed by a shotgun. Like, it is a little bit all over the place. And it is really working in favor of Influence Rage from time to time. Currently 1 elimination lead in favor of the Knights.
2 minutes
Federal taking this fight, does not get the knock though. But Law will drop down instantly afterwards. Coops shut down also by Federal. The timer, 2 minutes remaining here. We need 9 more elimination for the Knights if they want to secure the first game of this BO3 series. 8 more currently.
Wow, Tencent, nice.
It's so close. Imperium still have no idea who will be the ones to secure this first game.
Federal swings around the side of the warehouse and is able to pick off one. Still only 1 elimination in between these two teams. The trades can't afford to be played through for Knights, but like you said, those trades have to be absolutely bang on, but it's even Steven, so the opportunity there for Influence Rage to get into the lead, and indeed they have 33-32, 1.5 minutes left. I said it might go down to the timer, but the teams have certainly racked up the eliminations that we could see a be the first team to 40 points. Pittsburgh Knights need to use the remaining time to reevaluate, get back into the game.
Grenades have been being used a lot more in the last few minutes here, really trying to dislocate Knights players outside of their spawn location, but things have slowed down. Everything is like a standstill. We just froze time. Just like in a JoJo episode right now, everything is standstill. Every team, every player is waiting for that one single opening, that man advantage being created to go for the full-on push, the full-on aggression.
Oh,
Spec shut down. Federal hits the headshot with the Groza. That is an instant death, if I've ever seen one.
45 seconds, 2-point lead for Influence Rage. Time is ticking. Tick-tock, tick-tock, and Coop's out in the open, and big risk be taken, and Tensa goes down.
Oh, they get 2 right there. That lead is going to be hard to close off.
Okay,
they
Tensa.
do get himself 1. Nicely done from Tensa. Just get traded away. Trade-offs are not going to be enough. If you keep trading that way, it will be a victory for the first game in favor of Influence Rage. You need to get some 1v2s coming your way. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get it. They need a few more. Nice eliminations. Spec doing some heavy lifting. Kaoski right on the forefront behind those boxes.
Oh, in the backline, low.
They're all there. And they're low. They're not full HP. That could be the game plan move here. Law could ruin the chances. No way. Federal gets the nice knock, and that's it. That's going to be this first game going in favor of Influence Rage. But what a game. Mind games happening back and forth. Huge, amazing responses from Knights every single time to the ARs and the shotguns. But there has to be a champion, and this one was Influence Rage.
Very even matchup. This story was written, like I said, at the start of this TDM. Both teams drop in boot camp. It's where we've seen the battle rage out across tournament after tournament. And in this TDM tournament, the warehouses of Sanhok were the name of the game. And by golly, did it trade. By golly, did it go back and forth. It slowed down as well for a notable period of time, Maxon. But in the end, Influence Rage were able to deal that final blow and get the first point in the series.
But it is okay for all of you Knights fans out there. There's still a chance for redemption for the Knights as they can make an epic comeback and get himself 2 games in a row and qualify for the finals. We'll have to check that one out right after the break. Influence Rage secured themselves the first game of the BA3 series in the semi-finals versus Knights, but as we said, there's still room for comeback. There's still room for glory for the Knights as we get right into the game over here, and we are back to Livik in this crates area.
Damn,
to see
boy.
who will be taking himself this game.
Shipyard, baby! Let's go. Knights and Influence Rage. First game, should I say, in the series. They go over to Influence Rage in an intense warehouse of boot camp battle. The Shipyard is going to be the name of the game, and Knights need to get back into this one, because if they want to take it to game 3, they got to convince not only themselves, not only Influence Rage, but us, that they have the metal to take down the might of Influence Rage.
Yeah, I do feel like this hurts Knights, but they have to go for the shotguns on this map. Like, this is a shotgun map through and through. Shotguns and utility will be so important. I know Knights don't want to play it. You don't have a choice. If you want to win, if you want to make it to the finals, shotguns are going to be necessary. But Spec, hey, they really make good use of it. And he's also trying to play out of range of shotguns. But, I mean, the range of the shotguns are pretty insane, so it's not going to do too much. But it's only a 1-point lead. Like, it's going pretty well, knowing they're not playing full shotgun on the side of Knights.
He also picked up the crate drop, which not only gave him that absolutely rapid fire, speed-fueled weapon, but also level 3 gear, right? So that's going to kind of keep him alive and defend against the brunt of the shotguns in a heavy manner. Federal just jumps up and takes the head off one of the players around him. Spec goes down as well. 8-7 in the favor of Influence Rage. Knights are at least keeping them pretty so far in this TDM.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many POVs we have actually with our production team. I think it would be great if we could have a flyby actually of the map and see like an overall layout. I think just putting the idea out there, I think that would be really cool to have an idea of like how the teams are really moving about and making use of the terrain of each map. Because so far, like with all of the matches we played, so far we played like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is our 9th map, and we have not had twice the same map. Like it's different every single time, so each layout does make it different for teams and how they're going to approach it, which I find to be a really cool concept when it comes to these TDM tournaments. So we'll see. So far, though, it's 14-15. No massive lead has been created so far, and Knights have been holding on strong, but the shotgun meta is definitely present. Gets Lil Boy peeking right behind him, but he's going to be pinched down a little bit too far for Tensor. Overstepping is welcome, but does create a lead for his team. 1 point currently to their advantage.
18-17, Jesus. Kowalski is going to even things up, but as he goes to reload, Tenta is going to take advantage of that one. Back in the favor for Knights on top of the crate. The players stand tall. Lil Boy wrapping around the side. The utility is being flying left, right, and center. Federal yet to go down in this flurry of bullets going through. Spec actually goes underneath. Is he trying to get a little bit of an inside blow? Spec has been spot out. The utility is going down. Doesn't quite take him out.
Doesn't quite happen, though. Trades once again on the shotguns happening. Law, great nade onto Spec. We're halfway done with this match. Once again, if you did just join, currently 1 point advantage over to Influence Rage. If they win this match, it is GG, and they move on to the finals to face off against Alpha 7. Knights have to do so much effort, have to go the entire way. They need 2 wins in a row if they want to qualify for the finals to face off against Alpha 7. Jump shot happening for Coops, unfortunately instantly received and shut down by Federal. Currently 24-27. The lead is still not created. It's still anyone's game right now, Imperium.
Yeah, I like that Knights have been able to kind of recognize that you gotta fight fire with fire, and for the most part pull out those shotguns. Not without the use of the Groza, but again, the majority of that kind of what feels like 3-1, 3 players using the shotgun, 1 using the AR, is kind of the best balance, and Coops is gonna pull out absolutely wonderful play with the Scorpion, I might add. 34-28. A pretty confident lead now of 4 points for Pittsburgh Knights in what clearly is a much faster paced TDM game between the two teams.
Yeah, and it's going to be really hard to slow down the pace of this game because of how the containers are positioned, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you do try and slow it down, it is going to be easy for the opposing team to go for the push. Though that lead has been closing, it was 4. Now it is going to be just a 1 point lead over to Knights. That lead might just be lost, and Influence Rage might be able to make it happen. Almost gets the double, but Xenox makes it a 1-on-1 trade. 3 more needed for Knights. 4 more needed for Influence Rage. Coops caught off guard, trying to heal up as much as possible. As Now it's down to the last 3 eliminations.
Oh,
Who
no.
will move on to the finals? We'll have to see right now.
Coops, you gotta be careful. You're in a pinch now. You gotta, if you're gonna
Two
be
more.
there, you gotta create a distraction. The rest of the team needs to wrap around on the front line. Kowalski is gonna get taken
One
out.
more.
39-38. One more elimination point.
Yes!
Stabbed in the back, and it's even things up. They take it to a game 3.
Tenso with a mild rush at the end there, gets the absolute mad lad position and does secure himself 1 point in this series. It is 1-1 between Influence Rage and Pittsburgh Knights, and it is down then. That means Imperium to the last 3rd game to know who will face off against Alpha 7 in the finals. Man, it's down to the wire for all of these games. Team Kessler versus Alpha 7, it was the same here for Knights versus Influence Rage. It is also the same. Tenso just barely able to allow the team to cross that finish line. But one more game, ladies and gentlemen, remains, and we'll be checking it out right after this break.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking for...
De acechar.
It is the final countdown now for our last semi-finals right now. It's Knights versus Influence Rage, 1-1 in the BA3 matchup, and whoever wins this next game will be moving on to face against Alpha 7 in an epic grand finals for the TDM elimination. Once again, I'm a Max Man with Imperium to bring you the action, to bring you the heat. And man, from seeing what we've seen between these two teams, I will still have to say it, but it is anyone's game to make it to the finals. I'm not sure if Imperium's here. I guess he's gone.
Sorry, apologies. I had my mic muted. I didn't really expect this to go to a game 3, being perfectly honest. I knew it would be close, but I thought Influence Rage would close out the second one, especially being it being more heavily shotgun focused. Then again, shouldn't underestimate Pittsburgh Knights. They're a hell of a squad, a hell of a team with a hell of a lot of star power. Can they do it once again?
I was promised a Sandhawk, but this is not a Sandhawk. This isn't a Wrangle, so we'll have to make work with that, but that's fine. This is already a map that we've seen back in Yasnaya Polyana for Influence Rage versus Knights. So far, 3 eliminations going the way of 4 currently, actually, for Influence Rage. And this one, we already saw it in Imperium earlier. It is all about the shotgun. Shotgun meta through and through with a little bit of utility here and there. But unfortunately for the Knights, they don't have a choice. They can't go for the full AR. They need to go and play Devil's Advocate. Playing the shotgun is going to be necessary to take the win.
It is indeed 7-2 in the favor of Influence Rage. And I kind of think you hit the nail on the head in terms of this is a TDM where Influence Rage have dominated already against an intense game, if I'm not mistaken. Now Pittsburgh Knights, at least in TDM form, have proved to be a bit more of a hassle for Influence Rage. And you can see the current standings of the scoreboard does say that 10-7 in the favor of Influence Rage, only 3-point difference. But yeah, if Influence Rage can keep Knights on their toes, we could see a continued level of victory for Influence Rage, but not if Coops has anything to say about it.
That was a close one. Almost got himself an extra bit of reload for an extra pellet, but wasn't quite able to pull through. It's fine though. 4-point lead in favor of Influence Rage. Still counting, hopefully. We'll have to see, but Knights not going to be giving up. We know that they can respond to any situation pretty quickly, but can they respond to a 7 elimination lead in favor of Influence Rage? Now 8. Oh, okay, I'm seeing a very, very big issue for Knights here. They are just losing their grip on this game pretty quickly. 10 elimination lead to the halfway point. Influence Rage, they keep popping off like this game might just be slipping out of the hands of Knights.
Indeed, indeed. 20-11. No, that's not the time. That's the scoreboard. Feels like 20-11. In the morning, we've been here for quite a while. Federal's going to get the drop on the spec. Down they go. 23-11 once again in the favor. Make that 24-11 in the favor of Influence Rage. And yeah, it is double trouble, boiling bubble for Influence Rage. I gotta say, that lead, I don't know if it's comebackable for Pittsburgh Knights. Am I counting them out too early, Max?
You just need one really good streak and you can get yourself back into the game, right? We saw 10 eliminations come out of like thin air.
Fair.
For Influence Rage.
Fair.
It is not out of the question. They can still make it happen. But the fact that Influence Rage, they built that momentum. They're feeling confident. They're going aggressive. Because literally you have no reason to slow down your game compared to Knights. They have to slow down the game because if they keep dying, they're going to struggle. So when you get to this point, it does seem like it starts to steamroll in favor of Influence Rage. I struggle to believe that they can really make this comeback happen right now because they are not slowing down. Influence Rage now up to 34, 6 eliminations needed, and they move to the finals. And Knights, only a miracle right now could allow them to make the comeback happen.
Knights seem to have run out of steam, and Influence Rage have found their form, found their frenzy, found their flurry, and the shotgun blasts are ringing through the ears of the Pittsburgh Knights players. Just 2 more, make that 1 more left, and that's gonna be job done. Influence Rage, they go through to the finals.
Influence Rage take themselves the win in more than dominant fashion, absolutely crushing the competition of Knights. And as you mentioned already, right, I think the fact that they already played this map earlier does give them a little bit of an advantage, a little bit of extra knowledge that Knights at the end of the day did not have. They didn't have the chance to play that one earlier when it came to the quarterfinals, so it did definitely work out. But all fair and square, and the shotgun meta is prevailing. Unfortunately so if you don't enjoy it, or fortunately so if you do enjoy it. I personally do enjoy myself some shotgun action, but it is a lot. It is maybe too much shotgun, which is never something I thought I would say.
Can you really have too much shotgun?
No, normally I would say no, but I feel like today I would have to answer yes. I think I'm seeing too much shotgun.
Says the guy that's advocated the DBS for the
That's
last
not the
year,
DBS.
year and a half.
Hey, that is not the DBS.
I know, but it's a shotgun though.
It's not the DBS. Not every shotgun is a DBS, but every DBS is a shotgun. No.
Are the same family though?
No, I disagree. A DBS is a DBS. You cannot compare it with the rest of the weapons, okay? A DBS is a DBS, but at the end of the day, Imperium, what we do have to say here is to Influence Rage and move on to the finals, and they will be facing off against Alpha 7. Alpha 7 that has already showed us in the previous matches, right, that they have perfected that shotgun meta to make it to the finals also versus Team Kesso. And
Yeah, and
it's a close one, man. It's really intriguing to see
It
who's
is.
going to be the one to come out on top.
I think this is going to be a very even matchup because both teams have proven to be extremely impactful with the shotguns.
Yeah, I think the shotguns are going to be very important one. Again, it depends on the map. I think that now we've cycled through all of the maps, so I think there's a lot of opportunities that the teams here have already played them, so they might have already a good idea of how to start those maps from the get-go. Do you go for ARs? Do you go for big utility focus? Do you go for the shotguns? We'll have to wait and see, but we'll be heading on over to a very short break, and we'll be getting ready for our final match here to see who will be winning it. Is it Alpha 7 or is it Influence Rage? Stick with us.
Welcome everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
Acechar.
Thank you so much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready for our finals here of the TDM elimination matchup, and boy oh boy, Imperium is going to be a spicy one for the history books, as we're going to be having Alpha 7 facing off against Influence Rage in an epic BO3 matchup. Our first map is going to be towards Tatmok on Sanhok, a map that we have yet to see.
Yeah.
And we know that on Tatmok, there's a chance.
Ability, history, success. One breathes the same breath as the other in this region. Let's see who's going to be the better in this wonderfully executed TDM format.
Oh, the layout is really different compared to what I'm used to. So actually, yeah, I would have to agree. Like the AR would be better on this position, especially the off angles that Carrillo is trying to offer to his team is really pinching down the side of Influence Rage. Like they have very minimal wiggle space from that position. So Carrillo already trying to pin them down, do some good work. So utility right now, when Influence Rage can't move, utility would really be the best way to kickstart this game in good fashion for them.
But also, I would argue that within reason, utility isn't really the most impactful because you're only at most going to get one person with that. The effectiveness of how these teams are split up is that they're kind of one by one, so you're not really going to get two for the price of one. However, Alpha 7, they're trading up. They've got into the lead. They take a 2-point lead against Influence Rage. And let's be fair, Influence Rage, they need to start to make a move because as much as I appreciate the patient game, if they give Alpha an inch, they're going to take a mile, Max.
I mean, it's not moving. They need to eliminate Carrillo. Thank you, little boy. That's what we need now. He has access to the warehouse. Now he can do exactly what Carrillo was doing, which is pinch them down, get the off angle. They turn this fight back on their head, and now they start to get back to a position where they might just have a lead. Gaelski, though, got to be careful. Mafioso trying to go for the pre-fire, does go behind that crate. But now Alpha 7 got to be a little bit more cautious of how they play this one, because that off angle offered by the warehouse is definitely going to be slowing down their approach. Good nade.
Bosky knows where Mafioso is. The nade comes out, followed by a second to make sure the job is done, and it's Federal to secure it.
Those nades are great. When you know they're pinched down, when you know they can't move any further, just chuck a nade and you're pretty much good to go. Mythic loses the one-on-one trade versus Law. But it's still a close one. A lot of open-ended areas, and all of Alpha 7 are being pinched on the northern side of the map, but Revo has the off angle. Creating himself a little bit of a fort with that bunker position.
Oh no, Bosky. Be careful, Influence Rage. Don't go too out in the open. They've been able to somewhat trade out to the point where we're now 10 apiece, and a little bit of a slow pace start to the game. We're just about 3 minutes in and we're only 10 eliminations each, so still like kind of a long way to go. We're only quarter away from a point standpoint at least.
It is so hard to push you out from this warehouse. I think the mistake from Alpha 7 was to send only Carrillo in there. I think they should have had to try and have 2 players to defend it easier. Now, Influence Rage have 2 players in that position, Law and Federal, and it is so hard to really move them out of that location. So, we'll see if they can try and make most use of it. But Alpha 7, hey, popping off right now. Leaving the warehouse slowly but surely. Mythic is really making a massive impact in this fight. 14, now 15 to 13, and Alpha 7 starting to create a small lead in their favor.
For me, Influence Rage relied too much on the warehouse in that regard, right?
Yeah.
So Alpha 7 were able to form that counter per se. Now, of course, it's still only 2 points, but in terms of kind of like taking that warehouse advantage away from Influence Rage or cancelling it out, Alpha 7 have done a great job of it.
It's been great so far. Feels good to not hear the shotguns every 2 seconds in Imperium. I'm not gonna lie, my ears are thankful that we have this map. So that's definitely gonna be a win.
I'm with you.
Unless it's DBS, then that just would be no, music to my ears, but it's not the one that's being used currently. Mythic trying to go for the wraparound, trying to be silent, but he gets punished. That's what you get for using the jump and punch. They should not be using that. You sneaky devil.
We're kind of on track to it going down to the timer. 5.5 minutes or so left in the game, and no team have yet to hit that halfway point. Again, this is quite a slow-paced TDM, naturally because of the fact that there's a lot of open terrain, so you need to be extremely careful how many steps you take, where you take those steps, and how coordinated you are as a team. Communication in this kind of TDM is so much more valuable, right? The communication and coordination, that can go a hell of a long way in terms of any of these two teams grabbing a solid lead.
Because there were so many angles being covered. Oh, Mythic and wide out in the blue, and he's going to die to the blue.
Play.
Yeah, it was a smart attempt, but unfortunately the blue will have the better of him, so he's not going to be turning in too much actually there. But all these off angles, like a lot of the fights were happening and it would just be one-on-one trades. Now both teams are like in a block, so those off angles are not really being offered, but there's a lot more utility kills than I initially expected. There's a lot more. Look at that nade from Reaver, right onto Law, gets himself another one on Kioski from Reaver. Also, that's a double elimination for the prize of 1 grenade. Really good stuff, and now the lead has been created. Alpha 7 up to 30. 10 eliminations needed to secure the first point of this BO3 finals. Can they go the entire way?
In what is a very open map, I'm kind of I don't get how Alpha 7 were able to pinch Influence Rage into that corner of the TDM map. That's extremely weird for me. Influence Rage shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but Alpha 7 deserve a lot of credit for that, and it has helped grab them a 5-point lead. So well played by Alpha 7, certainly taking advantage of what I highlighted in terms of coordination and teamwork and communication to put themselves in that moment. But of course, the scope is there for Influence Rage to get back into, and they whittled it down to just 3 points. Unfortunately, back up to 4.
Oh, the game plan from Influence Rage was so good. They had so many off angles. Their plays to the west, plays to the east, but unfortunately, losing all the plays to the east, the warehouse is now open, and they're actually sending an offensive 2-man group into the warehouse. If they can get control of this, this might be the game-winning play. Revo gets it done. He does not go down to the blue zone. 3 more limbs needed. Alpha 7, can they hold on? The nade comes through. They need 3 more. Alpha 7 are just so close to glory for this first game.
Close, but no scar, my friend. They're keeping it in it. 32 to 37, still a hell of a mountain for Influence Rage to climb. They need to be extremely careful, but down goes Law to a nade.
Gets it done. He gets the peek on the headshot, and that's it. Alpha 7 secure the first game of the series in dominant fashion. It was close, but that finish there, Alpha 7 really turned the game on its head. And especially, man, the grenades. The utility from Alpha 7 once again proven to be one of the best, not only in the region, but I would even contest to say they have some of the best utility in the world currently, because I do not see many teams use the utility the way they do, even in TDM or in your classic matches. But that is it for our first game, guys. We'll have to see if Influence Rage can make the comeback happen. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome, everybody.
Bienvenidos una vez.
Avião voando.
Y los vengo a conectar a otro elemento.
E agora? Meu Deus! We'll need to try and flip things around because Joey so far is looking...
De acechar.
Alpha 7 currently in the lead. Imperium looking down in defeat, but no, don't be defeated, Imperium. Influence Rage can still make the comeback happen right here. They just need 2 wins in a row, and we definitely see
I'm
that
looking
it could
for the
happen.
shotgun. I'm looking for the shotguns, right?
There's no looting in this mode.
Where are they?
What do you mean? There's no looting, Imperium. You have it from the very start. Check your backpack. It's probably there right now, but we'll have to see. It's depending on which map we're going to be having. We know depending on the map, you're going to go for the AR, utility, you can also go for the shotguns, but
Yeah.
do you think Influence Rage, can make the comeback happen here, Imperium? Are you confident
Yeah.
they have the chops to make it work?
Tricky. Am I confident they have the chops? Yes. Are they capable of it? Yes. Because it would be extremely disrespectful to count a team like Influence Rage out. However, it's hard to deny, specifically within this weekend of games, how dominant Alpha 7 have been. They won the 6 games, or they won across the 6 games yesterday. They won in the Influencer Tour event, and they've pretty much spectacularly dominated through the TDMs. So it's very, very hard to do anything other than bet on Alpha 7, right? It might be another close one. And if Influence Rage do win, I think it's going to be like 1, maximum 2 points. Other than that, Alpha 7 could very much make this a 2-0.
Yeah, especially because right now we're going to a power plant game, which is on Livic. I believe this was the one that was already played by Alpha 7.
Nova.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Alpha 7 against Nova. Yes, you are dead right.
That is the one. So they've already had this map played. They already have the experience, and they already have that 1-0 lead currently in the BF3. So
sorry.
We saw the shotguns being very dominant there. I mean, Nova lost because they just didn't have access to that. And also the 2-2 splits we saw from Nova was very, very effective on this map. If they play around that once again, that might be enough to take the advantage up against Influence Rage. And here we go, kick-starting off the game, 10 minutes, and we might know who our champions might be. So we'll have to see. Though, you do keep in mind that Alpha 7 were the one to get the point, not Influence Rage. So the mark at the top is not correct.
3-2 in the favor of Influence Rage. Off to a pretty good start. Shotguns favoring, of course, Alpha 7. Definitely a stronger opponent in Influence Rage compared to Nova, with all due respect to them. 5-3 turned around, just like that, Alpha 7. It's crazy how quickly they can turn this around.
Yeah, that's going to be potentially helping him out, make it further. Mafioso rushing his way in, does get a one-on-one trade though. Mythic is trying to get involved, not going to get himself a 1-on-2. Oh, okay, Revo just got a clap right there. Just got annihilated. So it is 8-7, but this is definitely one of the maps that goes very quick, very fast, very snappy. You don't have a lot of time to think, you just got to get into the thick of it and do your job. Then it might work out. Again, in the canals, and all of the action's happening on the southern edge of the map, Imperium. Like, they're not using 80% of the map right now, they're just all here fighting tooth and nail in forward.
Grabbing the crate drop is pretty healthy for Alpha 7 as well, and Law tries to find one, gets 2, and his teammate's gonna pick up the 3rd. We are back at even Stevens, 11 apiece with less than 2 minutes into the game. This is gonna be hot and fiery. Spicy play comes on through, and Alpha 7 walks right into some utility. But just like that, Alpha 7 climb back, and they take a 3-point lead.
Currently still the 3-point lead is there for Alpha 7, almost at the halfway point of this game. Influence Rage, they're able to clap back a little bit. Lord does get himself some nice damage. Mafioso, though, not really caring too much about their feelings. He's just going to go ham and get those elims. It's Law taking, oh, the K, taking himself that 1-on-1. The jump shot is there for Mafioso. This guy has perfected the arts and craft of the shotgun. Little boy now pushing his way forward in this little canal position here and does barely lose the fight to Carrillo. Can he get himself more to follow it up? That 22 more than halfway done. Alpha 7 here, Imperium
lead.
might be on the path to
5.
success, might be on the path to become the champions of TDM.
And just to let you know, the series marker is on the wrong side. Don't get it twisted. Unfortunately for Influence Rage, they did not win the first game. It was Alpha 7. So if Alpha 7 win this game, they win this series. But Influence Rage, they're not going to go out without a fight.
But it's only a 3-point lead currently. Influence Rage have been able to hold on strong, and we know that just one little squad wipe and you're pretty much in a good position now. Only 2-point advantage for Alpha 7. It's getting closer and closer by the second, but Alpha 7 responding in kind. Here you go, Law. Oh man, if Law got access to that position there, that could have been so impactful. Now it's a 4-point disadvantage. Influence Rage. Got to get back into it. What a nade from Revo. You can potentially get yourself a double elim right there. That would be huge for his team to put him back in a good spot.
There
Just
you
peek
go.
around the corner. That is
around.
one. But where the other players on Influence Rage currently does not have the information, and Revo carrying that fight.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't think he was going to get the job done, but let's be fair. Influence Rage, they kind of sat down and allowed those eliminations to come on board. 34-29, there's a 5-point difference, but more importantly, Alpha 7 are only 6 points away. Federal climbs it back, 35-32. Like I said, Max, Influence Rage, they're not going to go out without a fight, but Federal, he's down on his knees.
Yeah, Law and Federal are doing so much work in this game when it comes to the shotguns. The nade, huge on Mafioso. Gaelski going to be doing some work. Mafioso also highly impressive for Alpha 7's side. Only 3 eliminations. That's all they need. If they hold on this to this pace, they'll be fine. It's 35 right now, Influence Rage. The comeback is still possible. We might be able to go to a game 5. Oh my word, here you go. The gap is closing. 1 game lead for Alpha 7. But the nade's going to be coming in.
Down to the wire. Influence Rage, they need this to take it to game 3.
One more elimination they needed right now. They're spraying it down and they get it 40-39. And Alpha 7 take the game, take the series, and take the trophy as the champions of the TDM section here of the Americas All-Star 2022.
My God. I thought Influence Rage were going to do it. I really did. I saw it. I was like, this is it. They're going to turn this around. But that final elimination, I said Influence Rage weren't going to go down without a fight, and they were tested in a massive way. Alpha 7 riding high, like I mentioned, winning out the event yesterday, winning the Influencer event in part 1 of today's broadcast, and they walk away as champions of the TDM tournament once again. Thank you, Influence Rage. It was certainly a lot closer than the 2-0 out on top.
Yeah, a non-easy path at that, playing up against some of the best teams, of course, from LATAM and also North America to make, and then, of course, I would say they're rivals when it comes to Brazil, right? Because Influence Rage had an explosive success when it came to the America's Championship, right, in the spring season of this year.
Yeah.
And there's that big rivalry between these two teams as, like, who's the best team. When it comes to shotguns, it seems like Alpha 7 might just be the better team, but shotguns is just like a minor part of PUBG Mobile as a whole, so no big issue on that one, but it is.
They have become a bit more in the meta. Let's be respectful of that, right? They have genuinely become a little bit more in the meta. So that's just a tiny element, but otherwise, yeah, you are right.
They are a bit more meta, but at the end of the day, Influence Rage shows some very impressive stuff when it came to the championships. I would still have to say that right now. The rivalry is still going on. We'll have to see how it goes when we go back into the PMPLs for their respective regions. But what a great finish right there. Down to that one single elimination, and that's just a little play difference. Maybe just a better aim from one player, and that could have made the difference. Maybe we could have had a game 3, but it was just not meant to be. And Alpha 7, they keep going on the streak. That means they're the champion Imperium of our first day of play for the Americas All-Stars. They're also the champions of the pre-show matchups that we had on today's stream, and they also win the TDM tournament. They win 3 of the events that we had in these last 2 days. Alpha 7 on an absolute streak, and clearly, once again, one of the teams that heading also in the after-party showdown of PMWI, they're going to be a highly impressive team that you need to look out for.
Mythic, a massive addition to the roster, filling the hole that Senetexa left, gelling extremely well with the team. You still have the old guards in the form of Carrillo, right, and Kowalski, and yeah, it is Alpha 7's world right now, at least in the Americas region. And you're right about the upcoming PMWI. I really would love to see Alpha 7 win it overall, because if you look back on the past to get a little bit of perspective, they did underperform in the PMGC finals, right? They did, within reason, disappoint, you know, arguably in some way disappoint the region, but they look like a whole new team. They look so much more confident, so much more flowing, so much more dangerous. The world is their oyster.
Yeah, and I'm confident to tell you that we're going to be looking at the match rankings also to see exactly who... No, sorry, not the match ranking, the MVP ranking, should I say, Imperium. Sorry, a little fumble out there. But Revo is the one that will be taking your MVP award here for today. And especially, I would say, it's down to those grenades, man. That utility has been on point for Revo every single day, every single game. And gave himself an overall KD of 1.6 in this one, 29 kills total. Revo really shining through and showing that Alpha 7 not only have amazing team play, but the individual prowess of some of their players like Revo, Carrillo, and even Mythic is definitely something to not mess with.
And then that gives him $500 as well, because that was a TDM prize for MVP. So well done to Revo as a whole. And yeah, it speaks for itself. The facts don't lie, and factually speaking, Alpha 7, best team in the Americas region.
Definitely feels like it, Imperium. But Alpha 7, after claiming himself that win, going to be going away with their heads held high. And cannot wait to see what they're going to be able to do. Don't forget, because the PMPLs of each region for Brazil, Latam, and North America, really just around the corner after PMWI ends. Like, we're getting right back into the thick of things. And I got to tell you, a lot of the teams that have shown up in this event are definitely going to be already ready for that, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in their respective regions. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on this adventure here for the Americas All-Stars 2022. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all of this action. Imperium, I want to ask you, do you have any closing thoughts before we do wrap things up?
Thank you for watching. It was an incredibly unique set of rules and formats that we saw over the weekend, and it was genuinely somewhat refreshing, and I hope that those influence the scope of what other future tournaments can come into play outside of the wonderfully amazing competitive esports ecosystem. And of course, once again, it was a pleasure to cast with your wonderful self across the 2 days.
It's been absolutely amazing, Imperium. Thank you very much for being with me, as always, for these type of events. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us on this adventure. Congratulations to Alpha 7 for taking W after W after W, and thank you for all of the teams who did participate in the event, and everyone working on the production side. It's been an absolute blast. With that said, that's it for the Americas All-Star 2022 season. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll check you guys out for the next one.